Plat Chat Overwatch, episode 239. We are 3 people because, as usual, one person ends up not showing, and now we're just waiting for someone to pop in. We don't know who it's gonna be. It might be anyone. It could be anyone. Mystery guest. But me, Costa, Avril, we're here.
It could be you.
It could be you.
It's unlikely.
Just DM Johnny now. It could be you.
It cannot be you. It's not. Yeah, we'll have a raffle. I just got like a huge deja vu that we've done this before. I think we showed up to a PLATCHAT once and we were like 2 people and we're like, we'll have anyone. Just,
you mean
please.
every week?
Well, you know, those are the vibes these days.
I'm available. Guys.
Yeah, look, I delayed the start. It's 4 p.m. local, just so you could sleep in. You could get reset your sleep schedule, Avril. It's been a busy weekend for you, so, you know, we did it out of respect for you. And also so Costa could do his Pokemon race, but, you know.
Yeah.
Are you winning?
No. Jack's in the lead. I'm second. Bren's third because he's been getting cucked by the wheel. And surprising to no one, Sideshow is dead last because he is trying to beat all the trainers without leveling his Pokemon and is 10 levels
so
below.
dumb.
And, yep. Sideshow.
Wait, so where's the fun in that of just losing?
Yeah, you'd have to ask Sideshow.
It's like
I'm winning. I'm close to winning.
Without the ability to pop up. Yeah, I don't get that. Well, I heard you were in the lead for a while, so it seems to be a tight race. Looking forward to see the Pokemon conclusion. After that, I'm sure they'll want to jump on Minecraft or something. It's a long off season for the Valorant people. So we'll see what happens. Well, today we're talking about Season 12, the mid-season patch, but also we're going to talk about the FACEIT recap. Avril worked this past weekend. Got to do some commentating with Mitch. So that was a great time, of course. We had a big match in NA as well. But before we get there, we of course have to talk about our regular sponsor. It's Manscaped. Today we're here to celebrate the perfect summer grooming. Yippee! That will keep you looking cool even when it's sizzling outside. I'm excited to introduce you the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra in the new colorway. Why not from Manscaped? In a sea of options to choose from to perfect your grooming routine. Manscaped undoubtedly shines and they're riding the white hot waves with their special edition trimmer in white. There are limited quantities available in this colorway, so you gotta act fast if you want this. Also, we saw the gold. There's now a gold option. So if you're a collector out there and you supported PLATCHAT, you bought the white hot one because you really wanted to support PLATCHAT as well. Well, now there's the forged gold colorway as well. So, you know, now's the time to buy a third Manscaped trimmer. There you go. Get it. Book it.
Is that the prestige skin?
Yeah, you need to spend competitive points. it's a mythic skin.
Yo.
Jack
sorry.
arrived.
I completely forgot, bro. I was
25 minutes late. All good.
25 minutes late. We're chilling, bro. We're all good.
Yeah,
Mystery
I saw
guest,
you.
it's me.
You were queuing WoW. You're a WoW
I
addict
was
now.
queuing WoW. Yeah, my bad.
Oh, you got him. You actually
All
got
right.
him.
Well,
I knew it.
Mythic.
I was in the middle of my Manscaped read, so we'll get to that. Step up your grooming game this summer with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra in white hot, or now the gold one. Experience precision like never before with the next gen dual skin safe blade heads, an up-to-date trimmer blade, and an interchangeable foil blade for peak performance. These up-to-date blades are not just for show. They're designed to keep you looking smooth, sleek under the summer sun. First, the up-to-date trimmer blade features longer, wider, rounded teeth that cut through hair with ease. And here's where things get interesting. The foil blade, crafted to transcend the boundaries of your typical trim achieved with the trimmer blade. This foil blade is designed to leave you with a finish that's irresistibly sleek and utterly bare. It glides gently over your skin, capturing even the finest hair for a flawless look that's ready to impress, whether you're hitting the beach or just enjoying the summer sun. Switching between the two blades is a breeze, giving you the versatility you need for all your summer grooming needs. It's like having 2 trimmers in one, making sure you're always summer ready without breaking the bank. Use code PLATCHAT for 20% off and free shipping, and make sure you get the gold one. Get the white hot one and the gold one. And I mean, you're supporting so much PLATCHAT at this point that I'm gonna have to start doing two episodes a week. So, you know, get on it. We appreciate the support. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Manscaped. And there we go. You know, if you can't get enough of the new Overwatch skins, well, now you can buy some new Manscaped skins as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Manscaped.
Where's my Sylvanas Manscaped collaboration?
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I'm thinking. No, I got nothing for you, Scott. I got nothing.
She'll trim down my hair like she did the tree or something like that. You know, there's something there.
They should do a Warhammer collab, but the chainsword is the shaver. You know. That'd be insane.
Johnny's kind of not. I think Johnny's kind of not looking to touch this right now.
But it's, you know,
It's a shaver.
Just saying. Possible.
Free ideas.
and then
Just
we
throwing free ideas out there.
And when you go down, you just like for the Emperor just the whole way through.
For
you know?
the Emperor. Exactly. That'd be
And
sick.
the skin safe technology the Emperor protects. You know what I'm saying? Right there.
Yeah,
All right there.
the Emperor also uses it, bro. There's the rocket. There it is.
Yeah.
Good
I love
ideas,
that rocket,
guys.
man.
Good ideas all around. Thank you. I'll be sure to forward this in an email to Manscaped.
They probably have changed
All
it
right.
as well.
We got season 12 mid-season that just dropped, and we'll be looking through all the patch notes and just chatting about them quickly. I gotta tell you guys, I'm having the time of my life playing Overwatch. I don't know what's going into me. I'm just in an Overwatch moment just now, and it sounds weird.
Shit
I
is
know,
ass.
Jaws, you're shaking your head, but
ass.
I promise it's not because of Diva. It's not because Diva is just server admin, but I don't know what it is. I'm just having a ton of fun playing Overwatch right now. But before we get to the patch notes, let's jump and review the skins, because we got the World of Warcraft collaboration dropped. So now we can actually combine our World of Warcraft addiction with the Overwatch one. So we got this nice little trailer
It was a
here.
good trailer. I
was a
really
good
like
trailer.
this trailer.
Yeah.
Blizzard
I think-
World-esque. Like, it was really cool.
Johnny and I reacted to this live on stream, if I'm
We
not
did.
mistaken.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was cool. It's also like they did multiple ones. Did you guys see the one where they recreated the Lich King one?
Oh yeah, that was good. It's
Like,
on
in
Twitter.
the
Oh,
game?
did they? I didn't see that.
It's like in a very meme format. But like yeah,
Yeah.
they like recreated it. Yeah, there's like a ton of really cool ones as well.
Yeah.
It's
They,
about
trailer, yeah.
damn time. How long ago did I call this? Like, they got to do a WoW collab, bro. Like,
Well, they
I think
already
it was
did
in
one,
Overwatch
right?
1.
Yeah.
Oh, with like the Magni skin,
Yeah.
the old one. Like, yeah,
This-
it's kind of WoW, but not really, kind of thing.
Well,
But
you got
this
the
is
one-
like
you got the
actually
Magni skin
WoW.
again. You get it
I know,
twice.
Crystal Magni. I know.
Look at that.
Whoa.
Now you got another
Whoa.
Magni skin.
Well, that's not Magni, is it?
Well, no, it's
No, that's
thingy, but
meant to
then
be,
that's
um,
Magni, but it's the same, but it's Crystal now.
Yeah, it's a recolor. It's unfortunately a recolor. So
But,
People
Sad.
say that, but what's the actual lore here, Scott? Why is the dwarf diamond?
See, that's a great question. I
That
don't.
is a really good question.
I don't know the lore of World of Warcraft. He's there. He gives me quests
Really?
sometimes,
I
but I
thought
couldn't
you were
tell
the
you
lore
what.
head.
He is there,
No, I am
yeah.
not a lore head. I don't know.
Dude, me and Scott, I think we like. People were giving me shit on the stream this morning as well. Like, I don't give a shit about story. I'm like, skip.
Wow.
skip. I just don't care.
I can give you
I
the
can't
major
do
beats,
dungeons.
but don't know much about the lore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought you
was,
were the
uh,
guy, Jack. You play WoW now. You don't know. You don't know.
Now,
the
I've been
character?
playing WoW forever. I've been playing since like Lich King, Bunny Crusade, bro. I don't give a shit about the story though. Are you serious? I just want to do dungeons and shit. I don't care.
Magni was
goes
turned
for
to
what
diamond
is that
during a
thing?
ritual
What's that
in the
thing he
heart
says?
of old Ironforge, sacrificing himself to save Khasmudan from the cataclysm.
My man, my goat.
My go. That probably happened like 3 expansions ago. My go.
No, more than that. That's Cataclysm. That's like 9 expansions ago.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. I was a
but-
big lore head up to like Wrath of the Lich King. All before that, I'm pretty clued in. But what is this here? We got the
This is
hammer.
This guy, is
This
he,
is one
it
today,
Mir-
yeah.
Ooh,
Is his character Mirrodin?
suave.
Is Mirrodin the character, or am I wrong?
Mirrodin.
I don't know.
No, isn't it
Right.
Magni
On Frozen
Bronzebeard?
Throne.
I have
Is
no
it
idea.
Mag? Is it actually Mag?
could be
You're
a
getting
different
stuck
character.
in the details. This trailer is sick. We got Arthas.
It is
That's
cool.
Reinhardt. I've been enjoying the skin so far. But
God
it is Magni. I'm
damn.
wrong. It is Magni.
Yeah.
God damn.
Jack's gonna
Holy.
represent all over
oh, come
the
on.
14-year-olds and be like, oh
What do you
yeah,
mean,
here we
come
go.
on?
You're
They had
simping
to
over
make-
Sylvanas
Bro,
Look at the
Widowmaker?
Thrall Zenyatta. Thrall Zenyatta is way cooler than
It's
Sylvanas.
pretty wicked. I will
Thralls
say.
and Yada's weird. When I
No,
saw that live,
I
I was
fuck
like,
with
bro,
it.
that's so strange. It's such
This
I
is
fuck
the
with
most
it.
insane. This is
Zenyatta
actually
for
Magni
Thrall is
in the
like-
game, though. That's the biggest joke of all time. Is that's what Magni did. He was just running towards people, bro.
That was a Leroy. They made a Leroy.
Oh, that was the
thing.
Leroy joke.
Yeah.
Nice. They still do.
And that the killing
See-
Tyrande. There we go.
See, the Arthur skin, the Lich King skin is by far the best one. Let's be honest.
Easily, yes. I
I think
agree.
the Sylvanas one is very good. Like the
The highlight intro for Sylvanas
Yeah,
is amazing
good,
because it's
yeah.
the
Yeah.
exact like animation they did for was it BFA? You know when she was outside the gates and then she was
Yeah,
like, yeah. That was cool as hell, man. Sylvanas is a cool character.
Yeah. I think that was going to be my question here, really, is that, we can all agree the Reinhardt Lich King one is sick. although there's something about the weapon. It feels more like a polearm rather than like Frostmourne for understandable reasons.
Yeah.
And then the Sylvanas one is sick. But do we actually? What do we think about the skins overall? Because the community was pretty disappointed by the Zenyatta one and the Dwarf one, and they just like wanted to see more. They wanted. They had higher hopes.
Zen's a weird pick for.
Who else would you choose for Thrall?
Who else is very weird. But then, yeah, who else, right? Who else do you actually give that character to? Maybe you give him to like Doomfist or something, but then it's
you
like...
You give it to Orisa, and the top half is Thrall. The top half is Thrall, the bottom half is the wolf that he rides. You guys see it?
That would...
Orisa.
Don't like that.
You're stretching the boundaries of like, we can't tell what character that is.
No, but
I actually think Doomfist would have been a good pick, genuinely. He's bold.
Maybe, but they already have the, there's the other orc. Is it Blackhand? Is that what
they already have him as Blackhand.
Oh, he has Blackhand skin. Yeah, that's true.
What's that orc called? I think something like that.
I like the thinking out of the box and I think it looks pretty funny. Like, I also really like the quest marker things, and when you equip the skins, it gives the sound of you accepting the quest, which is really cool. You know, honestly, I think there was the thing that I like the most about this collaboration is like, yeah, you can say whatever you want about the skins, is I think there was a lot of little details that they did really well, like the trailers and like these kind of things where you can tell it's like the collaboration was, you know, done by people that are actually passionate about the World of Warcraft collaboration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I thought it was really cool. And specifically that trailer you hinted towards. So they reenact the Wrath of the Lich King cinematic, but they don't have a dragon, obviously. So they use Hanzo's Dragon Strike to have a dragon come up from the ground. And then the big dragon sitting on the cliff, it's Hanzo doing like the scary Halloween emote, like, cool. So it's really funny, actually. It was really well made. Yeah. No, I can see where people are coming from, though. I was like, I want my Judgment Paladin Reinhardt armor. I told Avril, like, what if it was like Kobold Venture? So like Venture had like a candle on their head, and like they were digging or something.
Kobolds aren't really like that. Kobold's not a hero.
It's not exciting, but to be a rat. But come on, that's what I was thinking. But it was cool. But
be a rat.
Well, I mean, kobolds kind of all rats, no?
They're big rats.
They're minor rats. I don't know.
Big vermin.
People love playing as rats. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And the highlight intros are really sick. I gotta give credit for the highlight intros, because these are the actual highlight intros with like the snow and stuff. So that was really cool. Definitely put some extra effort into that. So here's the trailer, by the way. So
the Sylvanas one is sick. Like, it's so cool. They had like the smoke and shit like that. And his Reinhardt's what's his voice line? The voice line as well. He's actually got the kind of voice of the Lich King, which is kind of cool. I was expecting everybody else to have like a kind of V voice, but it was just like the default, like it's just the Zen voice, but he says a Thrall line kind of thing.
Well, I'm sure that's probably a legal thing. You can't you probably can't put Sylvanas' voice for a Widowmaker voice line.
No, but
right?
like they didn't make it like Echo or anything like that.
Oh, right. I was like, I don't know if that's gonna fly.
This sounds so.
Yeah, it's very silly.
You guys want to see the actual? Do you guys want to see the actual game skins in game? I've booted up Overwatch. I can actually show it.
I'm sure Solomon can do it. So
Solomon's got it, bro.
This Solomon? Yeah, this is BPL right here. Got to boot it up. So
someone get him a code.
The diamond looks nice. I gotta say, people are like, "Oh, it's a recolor," but I'm like, "Yeah, but it's a sick recolor."
It's a recolor. It's one color.
Actually, this is skin maxing for sure. There are probably some maps where like the terracotta skins. This is basically a tall terracotta skin.
Wait,
you can definitely skin max this. I'm not lying. You definitely. This is going to be the.
Look at the turret. Can you turn up the turret, Solomon? The tall turret. Whoa! On Antarctic Peninsula, that's invisible. No way.
Yeah.
Except for the red outline around it,
Except
it's
for the red outline. Yeah.
And you can see the shots fired towards you, like coming at your face. Yeah, something like that.
Surely no one cares about the red outlines. You know, it's all about how you blend into the environment.
I turned the outlines off. I play hard mode.
What the fuck? You are
no.
I went to a diamond, bro. Like, holy shit. God damn.
Reinhardt, pretty sick. Yeah, there you go. So
Yeah.
It is, I will say, it is slightly disappointing that it's like a pole arm, but there's no way you could do like a giant greatsword, you know, like a two-hander. It makes sense, but yeah.
it's never. Yeah, I agree, but it's never something I would like blame the devs for. I'm like, what
No,
they did.
no. It's
yeah,
like,
you know,
you can't do that because that's just not how he holds the weapon. It
and
doesn't
also
make sense.
the
And it
amount
looks
of
sick.
time I noticed this today when I played with the skin, like the amount of time. Like your weapon doesn't even show because you're like swinging it like side to side and like you're shielding and like you know you don't really see the weapon anyway. So I think they did the best they could. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
Lich King Reinhardt, Sylvanas, Widowmaker.
It's so sick.
I think
They
it, like,
captured it perfectly.
Yeah, that's what I like the most about this skin is like it
Yeah.
really is Sylvanas, like outside of the gun, obviously, but like I think that just the way the model fits is like very good.
It's really, and it's like they strayed. Well, I guess you could argue same for the tour, but like the face doesn't look like Widowmaker, and like
Yeah.
this is one of the first times I think that's happened where it's like you look at the face and you're like, that's not Widow, like that's actually Sylvanas. They've obviously kept some facial features, but that's just Sylvanas with a gun. Like that's pretty awesome. Maybe she'll get a gun in WoW.
Yeah,
Maybe she'll
hope
get a
not.
gun in WoW. Maybe she'll get the Widow gun.
Sylvanas with a gun.
With
Throwback
Sylvanas
to-
with a gun. Finally, we can end it all. She just has a machine gun. Finally.
Throwback to give Genji a Glock, which was an
Give
episode we had in
Genji a Glock.
2020. And
And
let's go
same
to
with
the Thrall one.
same with Thrall Zen. To be fair, like that's just a face. That is just not Zen's face.
That's what I think. That's what I
kinda
like
cool.
about it. I like the like top half. Like obviously it's kind of weird that it's Zenyatta, but I fuck with it. Like I think it's funny. Like obviously it's not as jacked, but I like this skin. I have this skin equipped.
That looks like this Shang-Shing Zenyatta skin, like the one from the Chinese New Year. In terms of like the face is totally being different.
Wait,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. Totally different face on the Zenyatta skin.
Oh,
compared to,
oh,
like-
right. Yeah, no. I know what you mean now. Yes, yeah, that one. It's just like it's not.
handsome Zenyatta skin.
Yeah, it's like the Giga Chad Zenyatta skin.
It's really
Yeah.
cool with the lightning. Like it's
I
always
guess
like
I kinda
crackling
trolled it.
from the wrists and it's just
it's
cool.
kinda sick.
The highlight
Does
intro is
that
cool
happen when you
too from the
shoot as
hammer.
well?
I don't know. I don't play Zen.
I don't think I
I've
played
not
Zen
tested them
today
yet.
with it on. Yeah,
Does anyone play Zen? I played a couple of Zens and I'm like,
That
oh,
sucks.
PSR.
they got
Yeah.
some good buffs.
Yeah, I got a sweet little buff. We'll get to that later.
So
Here we
look,
go.
Solomon's on
Practice
now.
range.
Look at him go, bro.
It is a really well made skin. I mean, okay, so we don't see it. Go
Your
get
Orisa's
the
still
ultimate.
crackling
Go get
there,
the
that's kinda
ultimate pack. Was it? I doubt it changes
Dude,
anything.
Johnny's just ordering Solomon around. Do
Yeah, what the
this,
hell's
do
that?
that. That was fucked up.
What-
No,
what do you wanna
please.
do?
You
Could
know?
you please?
Yeah,
Could you
thank you.
please?
Could you
Yeah,
please? Yeah.
swap
Solomon,
over
I
to the
appreciate
ultimate?
you. You know, thank
I do
you.
too.
Yeah,
I pay Solomon. What are you?
Okay, so just pay him.
okay.
It's not about kindness, it's about the money. You know, that's
That
crazy.
is crazy, bro.
I'm trying to host a podcast over here. I'm sorry, Solomon.
So
I
you
didn't
can throw
I
a
didn't
please
order
in there
you
every now
around.
and then. That's fine.
I
You know,
apologize. I apologize, Solomon. How
Looks
can I?
good.
How can I make up for this? I'm sorry.
It looks good.
I don't know.
There's.
I think if you buy Solomon all of these skins, I think
There's
you
the
would.
highlight tray. That's really
I can
cool.
do that for you, Solomon.
No, you don't. Don't
I
worry
can
about
do that for you, Solomon. If you want these skins, I got a present for you. That was a present to me.
Like-
So it's like a second-hand present. I shouldn't have said that.
Hashtag
Anyway,
wave.
there you go. Yeah, that's a highlight intro as well.
it. All right.
This
It's pretty
song's
decent.
Sick.
Pretty cool.
Look at the Sylvanas one though. That one goes the hardest. Dude, I'm
I'm not
just
gonna lie,
saying,
I
it's
like
my
the hammer.
favorite
Guys.
one.
Guys, I just saw the Lich King highlight intro with the mythic hammer, and it looks pretty scuffed. It just doesn't look anywhere near.
Oh,
as good.
really?
It's just so funny. Yeah, because you use it with the mythic hammer. It's like, oh, this will be really good. It will be good in game. But you see the highlight intro, it's like, oh, it just doesn't hit. Because the action.
'Cause it's
thing
not.
just looks
It's an
weird.
axe, isn't it? It's not like a
the
pointed
sword.
weapon.
Yeah, exactly. So it just looks weird. But I'm still using it. I'm
All
still
right.
using it, baby.
Ignoring the bugs.
It's not a bug,
Here's,
it's just
here's the
strange.
quest givers, and we got the name cards.
They're pretty
Obviously, we're looking
sweet.
at this
That
one.
one's fucking wicked.
That was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about icons.
Costa's rocking the Thrall one I saw.
Yeah.
It's nice.
They're all
It's
kind of
clean.
owns.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, it's a nice little collaboration for the mid-season. It all helps. We're all World of Warcraft heads here. Jaws is even streaming it now, which is
nah, that was a one-time thing. Because everybody's like, you should stream WoW. I'm like, no one's going to understand what's going on, but fine, I'll just sit here and talk and do Mythic Plus.
yeah, so
which is the most fun thing to do. To be fair.
Yeah, sometimes
WoW's a Talking's man's game.
A couple of people come into your stream and they're like, you should do this, and I'm like, no. So
no,
like,
I don't want
I
to
lose a few games in ranked, and they're like, you should take a break, and I'm like, to do what? To do what exactly?
The stream ranked off stream.
Yeah.
McDonald's mayhem is so back. Oh yeah, the store's going away soon. This is so sad. Press like.
Well, soon is like a year, but yeah. But it is.
I think they're
away.
removing the alt tokens too. I read that you can't buy alt tokens.
Purchase them after like December or something. There you go. It says that right there at the top. Right? December 9th.
Yeah, surely they convert them to like regular currency or something.
That's 2025.
No.
2025, December 9th. Are you sure?
No.
I'm pretty sure the store Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, it said until October. Wait.
You can buy tokens until December 9th this year, and then next year the shop shuts down.
Yeah. December 2025, the shop shuts down. Yeah.
You know what's really degenerate? I sold, the Spectral Tiger Cub pair that was from the TCG. I was like I've been stockpiling them, right? After I got like a ton of gold back in 2020. Gotcha. And I've been stockpiling them, and then I recently just sold them on the auction house for like double the price or whatever, and then I converted that into WoW tokens into Battle.net credit, and then Battle.net credit into OWL tokens to then buy some of the skins. So I converted my WoW gold into like OWL tokens to buy the skins in Overwatch because I'm too cheap to buy them normally. So, yeah. And I've still got 2 Spectral Tigers to sell as well. I'm chilling. I sold like 600k gold worth of pets.
This guy grew up playing RuneScape, you could tell.
Yeah.
This guy's stingy as hell. Right?
Selling GP. Selling
gold from WoW and turning it into Overwatch currency is the best shit of all time. That's a good exchange rate.
Yeah, there you go. Well, nice little collab.
Wow.
Nice little World of Warcraft collab. Yeah. Anything else to say on that matter? No.
Nope.
No, pretty good review.
Awesome. They also have in-game challenges, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a World of Warcraft event. I did not look into that. I'm gonna be honest.
You can get Horde Champion or Alliance Champion, I think is the name cards. No, titles, sorry. Titles. If you scroll down.
So what's the game?
It's quite a lot actually. 140. It's just
I think
wins.
you just play the game. Yeah, you don't. It's not like
it's just wins, grunt double, and complete games. But Alliance Champion and Horde Champion, which is pretty sweet. But 140 in a couple of weeks is quite a lot
of games.
Yeah,
the weapon charm is really good. The weapon charm, the question mark is nice.
Is a good thing. I said this a long time ago about like some titles being a little bit harder to get. Mini rant time. I'm kind of sick of like with this modern gaming and like Overwatch especially. This happens a lot where people are like, "Oh my god, I cannot own fucking everything in the game. Holy shit, why not? Why are these challenges and shit so hard?" Like. Some things should be more difficult than others, Like, I think it comes from my WoW brain where I'm like, okay, someone has the insane title and they worked like weeks for that shit. You have Johnny, for example.
Marshal.
Yeah, Grand Marshal, that guy no-lifed the game and it's hard to get. Well, not hard, but like it just takes grinding, I think they should be allowed to, to be a little bit out of reach for some people, and I think that's okay. I just want to put that out there because this happens a lot where people are like, "Oh, it's too much. It's too much." Like, fuck off. Just if you really want to get it, you'll get it. Like if you don't, then fuck off. Who cares? Like you're not going to be using the title in a week anyway. So yeah, that's my little rant about. You don't have to have everything in the game for the game to be fun.
If everyone gets everything, nothing is valuable, or nothing is special. Yeah, because everyone has it, right? I think having some level of challenge and having things that it's like, hey, I grinded a lot through this event. People.
Games? A lot.
Yeah. People did it during the Le Seraphim event, and people did these things, and everyone has their things that they care more about. So I agree.
Yeah, just a mini rant, but yeah, there you go.
Yep, that's a good little mini rant. It's quite frequent on Plat Chat. We bring it back every couple of years. We store it in the back and then bring it out, remodel it, put it back together, and then bring it out again. So. Yeah.
The concept.
No, yeah, I think me and Cus have done that one a couple of times in the past. That hard to gain skins or like it's good. We like that.
Yeah,
so it's a good rant. It's a good rant, Jack. It's a good rant.
Thank you.
All right, let's get into the patch notes and what we'll be playing for the rest of season 12 here. Obviously, D.Va's been out of control for quite some time now, so they honed that back in. If you've been complaining about tanks, well, we've reined that back in as well. I say we. I had nothing to do with this. They've been reining that in as well.
Particular.
They've been reining that in. So I guess we should start with the broad changes to tanks in general. The first one being that they've reduced... What do you call it? Go up one more. Damage mitigation per armor. Armor flat damage reduction decreased from 10 to 7 per impact. So armor effectiveness is lower, quite significantly lower. And then also for the tank roll passive, knockback resistance has been reduced from 40 to 25%.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, better if you're...
So Lucio's can actually do something with right click now. Because before it was just absurd. Like, I remember seeing a Frogger clip one time. He's like trying to boop a Ryan off the edge. He was like, he's right on the edge and he hits like the perfect aerial boop. So he moves as far as possible and he just goes, boop. It's just so stupid. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I think these changes are kind of necessary. Like, tanks have been kind of out of control. I think we can all agree 10 armor per instance was just like a little too high, and the big winners of that was obviously like D.Va and a couple of those other heroes. So they said they want to meet it in the middle. It seems like they want it to be higher than 5. I kind of want to see them standardize or like stabilize on a number, so then they can start balancing things around it. Because when you do these global changes, it affects different heroes more than others. So it'd be cool to see, but I think it's definitely them going in the right direction.
Is this not just like the regular bi-seasonal seesaw pendulum swing of tanks are shit, now tanks are too good, now tanks are bad, now tanks are too good, and we're just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now, I really do hope that this is like the middle ground, but I just don't know. I'm not going to be convinced until I see this being the real middle ground, because I've just seen too many times we just shift back between tanks being either really good or really bad.
Well, it quite literally is the middle ground between the 5 and the 10, right? So you'd hope so. You'd hope now they just leave this for the rest of the season and just go, okay. Because right now, tanks, I did not want to play until a patch came through. Like, every time I was like, oh, someone's online. Like, oh, maybe we'll do it. Oh, maybe we'll play some Solo Queue. And I'm like, actually, I get like an hour in. I'm like, holy fuck, I want to die. Like, I just want to leave. I just don't want to play right now because it just feels so awful. Like, and that's the first time I felt that way in a long time, which is really weird. Because normally I'm like, oh, I'm really excited to play this week. I'm like excited to play after I cast and shit like that. And I'm like, now I'm like, oh my god, I'm actually dreading. Like, I don't want to start stream. I don't want to play Overwatch because it feels terrible to play. At least from my perspective.
Well, I also think supports were affected the most by, because obviously it's a bigger thing than just like the usual seesaw that we do with them balancing, because they buffed the crap out of tanks. What was it? Is it now like one whole season ago? Was that halfway through last season that they did the big buffs to tanks? I can't remember if that was at the beginning of the season or in the middle of the season, but
I don't know.
Yeah, but they did the big buffs to tanks, and like, because they want to make tanks stronger, so people want to play tanks more, which I think has helped. I know a lot of tank players who are like, oh, I am enjoying the game way more. But like, Johnny literally opened this up with, I love playing Overwatch these days. I can't put my finger on it.
I was a bit up here. I'm sorry.
No, but as I said, like, it's like tank players are having more fun, which is important for the game, because no one wanted to play tank, and tank's been a pretty miserable role throughout Overwatch 2. But I think it's kind of been pushed onto more of supports. I think maybe it's amplified by the fact that D.Va is like very strong right now, and all she does is like mitigate healing and like fly at you. Like, she flies at you, you can't do enough damage to be able to take her down because she has so much armor, but you also can't heal your teammates, and she can kill people on her own. So she's kind of just like a menace in the backline, which is very frustrating for support. So I do echo some of the sentiment that Jack's saying, and I hope, as you said, that this isn't too much of just they're going to seesaw back and forth, and they're going to really try and find like a balance here.
Yeah,
she is literally the personified. Like, everybody used to call her a big tracer, but like, she actually is, but she's more powerful. And I hope at this point now people can actually kill her and like CC her a little bit more and just do something that stops the Juno nuke from flying in, like speed ring D.Va, and then you don't have time to react. You can't even sleep, but it doesn't matter because or like lamp or whatever, because she just boops you and you get fucked. And the micro missile damage too. Like, we'll get onto the tank changes.
We'll get to the specific D.Va changes, but the burst is definitely like crazy. The fact that, you know, even if it's like mid fight now, so they fixed the Juno speed ring thing, and we'll talk about that too. But the fact that I can just like fly into a support, use my missiles, melee, booster damage, and just delete a support character in like 2 seconds, it's still a bit bonkers to
While
me.
you're matrixing too.
Yeah, theoretically.
Which is the problem.
Yeah.
Like, good divas will just run at you, perfect spray you down with missiles because they're up in your face and your character model's like this, you know, and then they'll do the thruster damage, all that shit, and then melee and you just die. And you can't do
it's
and if you try and nade
insane
yourself, you
burst.
can't do anything. BAP shift is like one of the only things you can do.
Yeah.
Or kill
But
TP.
just talking about the tanks broadly, because we mentioned armor here as well. I think part of the reason I enjoyed the game is just like there were a few tanks viable that I enjoy playing too. It wasn't just like, because there are a few tanks that honestly, like, I just don't like playing. And, you know, we, like, all the way back, you know, there was a lot of Mauga and, you know, stuff like that. Like, I don't enjoy playing Ram as much. I don't like playing Sigma as much. And so, like, the fact that I could play, like, D.Va, Winston, Ryan, you know, for the most part, you know, it makes the game far more me. So they're rotating the tanks. Anyway, we should get into the specific details here as well. So let's just kick it off with D.Va here. So they reduced, I guess, D.Va's total health by 50, but they converted her armor, 50 armor, into 25 health, I guess.
So
What's a good way to put this?
So she lost 25 total armor, and she gained, and 25 of that armor also turned into health. So essentially, think about it exactly how it's written. She lost 50 armor, but then she gained 25 health. So she net lost
point.
25, but she also just
You
lost
just do the
25
math
armor.
on the
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah.
You can. It's pretty easy to read, Johnny.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
can't
I
blame
should
the
just,
big
sorry, I should just actually read what they write and not try to
Yeah.
move it
There
all
you go.
around.
Reduce your
But
max
then-
combined health by 25 armor. There you go.
So they do that, but then there's also the armor change. And so, you know, the effective health pool of D.Va goes, you know, significantly down because now armor does less and she gets 50 less armor plus 25 health. So
good.
sustainability goes quite far down.
I think an interesting thing to note in the dev comment here as well, on average, she hasn't been overperforming, but she's quite difficult to take down. I know some people are a little upset about that, but it's kind of always interesting how sometimes public sentiment isn't really true. Like, if you asked anyone, they would say D.Va's like by far the best tank who probably has a crazy win rate. But from what it sounds like in this dev comment, that's not necessarily true. That doesn't mean that she's fun to play against, and there's definitely an issue here. But it sounds like that she hasn't been like as oppressive as some of us would think. Like, I think she's fucking broken.
This is the one time that I will say the plebs were right. The game is being balanced for the top level. This is the one patch note I'll give it to you.
Right.
This is the one patch note because this comment says, and I think I don't know, I don't have a source for this, but I'm pretty sure I've heard a dev sentiment somewhere before that was basically like, D.Va's not that strong, guys, like based on win rates and stuff. And I believe that because probably if you're below GM, D.Va is probably not insane, or at least like regular players are not abusing the crap out of her the way she's being abused at the higher level. That's probably true. So yeah, if you're a dev looking at this, you're like, well, the top level players and streamers are complaining about this hero. She does seem pretty good when you know how to play her. But then you look at her win rate, it's like, well, it's not insane, especially the low rank. It's probably not insane. So maybe they had to like really make a call on this one and be like, is she really busted? Is she not? And they did nerf her. So you know what? This patch note specifically probably did target the high level, but I think it would have been broken at any level if you know how to play this hero.
See, I'm surprised it didn't touch the damage though, because I think the lower levels need the sustain. Because my wife, she loves playing D.Va, all right? She's not out here dive bombing the enemy backline on console, okay? That's not how she plays D.Va. So,
well, she should.
So I'm like, yeah, she could dive bomb the enemy backline, but that's not how it works. You know, in her gameplay sphere, her rank. So, you know, I'm surprised it didn't touch the damage because I feel like the damage is the biggest problem for pros. You just go in and you just, well, the health is also an issue, but you know, I'm surprised because D.Va genuinely, I think, needs some kind of sustain because she doesn't have a shield. In lower ranks, it's hard. In lower ranks, it's hard for a D.Va to like live through, you know, a choke, like walking up a choke or stuff like that. So it's different problems for different ranks. So I'm surprised it didn't touch the damage.
I'll tell you what they did touch though. They did fix. I think it was probably intentional that how it worked before. I don't believe that it was truly a bug, but they fixed. It says fix an issue with D.Va boosters movement speed stacking multiplicatively with speed boosting ability. So specifically, they removed the combo of D.Va boosting through the speed ring to just rush somebody down. That doesn't work anymore in terms of its stacking. So now the way I read that into it being it'll be limited by the 75% movement speed cap, or at least it should be, which is what I advocated for.
So
strongly.
it wasn't before then, because that kind of makes sense. Because if you did see shift through speed ring, it was like I have never seen something move so quick in my life.
No, it did. It wasn't capped. That's the problem.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
Yeah, that's what
now
I thought.
it is capped.
Yeah, because that was like meta as well. Like in I would imagine a lot of scrims and like high level pro play and shit. It was just like you put D.Va through ring and the backline can't do shit. Like that. It's just the D.Va nuke is just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's why everyone started playing Brig. That's why everyone started playing Brig to try and do something about it.
Because EU is playing a ton of Brigs. They allow.
But now that not to move on to another hero, but I just want to comment about where that how that affects the meta. Now that D.Va had that HP nerf plus the armor nerf plus this booster nerf, I'm pretty sure Ram is hard meta. Ram looked like he was hard meta anyway, but Ram will now definitely be hard meta. Like D.Va being played won't even be a question. It'll just be pure Ram now.
Yeah, they didn't really touch the
because they didn't fix the Ram and Brig armor bug, by the way. That's still a thing. Still a thing.
Yeah.
We'll see, but that seems
Jack absolutely loves.
Insane. Well, I mean, yeah, Ram is so funny. Was it with you, Scott, where it was a Hollywood game and we pushed the payload, after first point, the doors, so they've opened, right? The payload goes through. We put a window on the payload and there was a Ram in that small cubby, and there was 4 people shooting at the Ram through window, and he wasn't taking damage. Like, he was getting healed by something from a mile away, but like 4 people shooting through. I think we might have been playing with Jay as well, actually. And everybody was just like, how the fuck is this guy not dying? Like, and he was just like blocking. And yeah, like that's when I was like, something's not right here. Something is a little broken.
No, because I don't know if you guys saw the clip of the Deadeye not killing the Ram.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh, I don't, what is that? Yeah, it was a big meme. And then it came out that the reason why is because the Deadeye like shows the skull, which should kill the Ram, but the only reason it doesn't is because of the armor bug. The armor bug is what stops the Deadeye from killing the Ram.
Right, yeah. He's very powerful. I can imagine him being hard meta, actually.
Remember, he's also going to get heavily affected by the armor change because he is someone else who's like very dependent on his armor, right? Like the reason Nemesis form is so powerful, especially off the rip, is because it just gives you armor to pull. So
but
I think he will be. I agree, he's going to be strong, but like
that. Well, the problem I think is the bug. Like that's the problem.
Yeah.
You still can't deny him.
Yeah,
you
exactly. Right.
But they did fix that Deadeye thing though.
They fixed
I saw a clip. I saw a clip on
it says bug
fixes.
today. Bug fixes fixed an issue where Deadeye would incorrectly indicate a killing blow under Matra. So
check this out.
Does his armor
check this video
bugged, though?
I posted the video, so
he also survives like self-destruct and shit like that.
All right.
Well, it's going to block damage, right? Like it's going to give the damage reduction, but I think it's the idea of how it functions with the Deadeye.
It's like, okay, sure. Like
right.
overlapping.
Okay, so you can Deadeye. Never mind. So you can Deadeye him, but the armor is still bugged. So that apparently is.
Dev fixed the symptom, not the cause. Double armor stacking bug with Ram and is still present up to mid-season patch. Yeah, okay. So the double stacking still, it's still in the game.
If I had to bet, it seems like it's probably a pretty hard bug to fix. They're not all bugs are not the same. So
well, obviously,
yeah.
Like.
They're gonna...
I mean, the Cassidy one was like probably in Cassidy, not like in Ram, but yeah.
Yeah, so
this was brought pretty late in the patch cycle for like them to try and fix,
Yeah, I suppose.
Because that was only like a week and a half ago when that meme, like the clip popped off, and like obviously it was reported pretty quickly to the devs, but like that shit's too late. Like,
that's something that's worth noting as well for these like mid-season patches, like those patches. Like it takes, I would assume, longer than a week for those things to come through. Like maybe
there's
it'll get
one
something fixed in the
motherfucker
bug
behind
fix.
his PC looking at Ram's code, going, what the fuck is happening? Looking through all these comments, like, okay, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
You ever seen that video of someone looking through the Simpsons hit and run comments for the source code?
No.
Unbelievable source code comments. Like, it's worth looking up. It's a hilarious fucking video. The amount of unhinged comments in that shit is just hilarious.
Control F armor. All right, let's figure this out.
Oh yeah, they're definitely just gonna have it listed under armor.
Yeah.
Surely,
okay.
7,000 instances found.
Yeah, let's move on. So, yeah, as Avril mentioned as well, they fixed the Diva Juno speed bug, so she shouldn't just be, freaking Tokyo Drift now when she goes through the speed ring. So, Diva definitely nerfed in that regard. Orisa, 45 movement speed penalty reduced from 20 to 10%. So now, when you're fortifying, you're not as slow, which... Nice change. It's a nice developer comment here where they say we still don't want Orisa to easily chase enemies down while fortified, since there's not much you can do to fight back during that time. So while we're not removing the movement speed penalty entirely, we are lowering it to a point where we feel much better for Orisa to use. So I get it. I get it as someone who's played Orisa. I get it, support players. It's not fun when a fortified Orisa is running you down.
Fucking walks at you and you're like, well, I guess I'll fucking die then.
I guess I'll die.
But am I on crack or something? Like, this doesn't seem like it was necessary at all, because we just got a new character that also gives speed. I don't know. For me, I'm like, it was fine the way it was. Well, like, when was this a problem where like she was too immobile in Fortify? Like, we discussed this. We've discussed this previously, but there has to be like downsides of sometimes using abilities like this, where like, okay, Fortify, you're basically immortal. You are like fucking Thor on the battlefield. You cannot die, but the penalty for that is the movement speed, and you can't run at people. This seems like there was no point to this buff at all. And Orisa was like, I wouldn't say she was dog, but like she was okay. You could definitely pick her. And now with like Juno that enables Orisa using speed ring, I don't know. This doesn't seem. This
But
doesn't.
you shouldn't be dependent on your healer. Like you shouldn't be dependent that you're playing support. Like I agree.
There should
where
be
you're
a
coming
downside
from, right?
for using Fortify.
Why? What? No. Why? There's very few downsides
small
for most
downside.
abilities. Why should this one have? Like
A lot of them are skill checks. That is the downside for abilities.
I agree. Like but like that's like
It just seems pointless.
Yeah, as I said, I agree. I see where you're coming from. And like, yeah, the movement speed penalty. Like, I just don't think this is going to move the needle much at all. And I wonder if this is. I wonder if this is them. Like, you know how like they do this with Orisa, like every time where they send her to the farm, and then they like give her a little buff, and then they give her a little buff, and then they give her a little buff, and it all does just nudge the win rate a little bit higher until it gets to a point that it's going to feel fine. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is like Orisa's underperforming. Let's give her something, not something big, but like, you know.
I do understand that point, but
congratulations,
I personally don't like that balance like philosophy, because we do get to a point where Orisa is a perfect example, because this happened previous with Orisa, where like she was absolute dog shit, and then they just kept increasing stuff, and then they were like decreasing stuff for everybody else, and then it was like hard Orisa meta for like almost a season. And that is why I do not like these like very small changes that don't really seem to impact much on the surface, because it just creeps up and then it becomes a miserable meta. I kind of get it where they want the win rate to be buffed a little bit, but like I just don't like that approach at all, especially with characters that are a little bit like red flaggy like Orisa is.
So you think the hero should just stay nerfed?
No, I just don't think a buff like this, which is
matters.
Just it didn't like, yeah, it doesn't really matter here, but it also wasn't a problem before. Again, this doesn't seem like there was a point to this. Like, maybe it is that nudging the win rate
it feels
up,
better.
up
I can tell you that
percent.
as a tank player. It feels better to play Orisa.
I'm sure it does, but like, I don't think Orisa needed it. She was already like, kind of like there. We're seeing in MOWC, although that was without Juno, to be fair, in NA. Because in EU, it's like a hard meta right now because of Juno. But I don't know. I'm just not a fan of these like very small incremental buffs like this.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like Orisa has a pretty short power spike when you combine her Fortify and her Spear Spin. Like, yeah, she activates those two abilities and then she shoots. And, you know, she has a Javelin, which is a skill shot. But like, I feel like you can still kind of like somewhat kite that. And like after she's used those abilities, like it's nice for pushing out the choke. But then you pushed out the choke and you kind of depend on your teammates to like, you know, make use of that space that you created, because all you can do is just hold corners. Yeah. So I don't know. You're not as good as chasing people down because you have a movement speed penalty, but at the same time you can push through those chokes. So like I used Orisa earlier this morning, for example. We were playing like against like a Junkrat May or something on like Mecha base. It was totally just awful. But I'm like, if I can just like run out with Fortify, at least I can push through this choke without, Otherwise I'll just get run over. So
Yeah, maybe I
know.
just don't play enough tank, but I think, especially releasing a hero so recently that has a speed, it's just like, probably shouldn't touch a lot of characters' speed related things, and I just don't think Orisa needed this.
I will say the Orisa chasing people down meta, which we had in like stage 2, that was not good. That was not
I
good.
don't think anyone can defend that meta,
That was
right?
not good. That's not, I guess, what Orisa is supposed to do. I think Orisa is just supposed to be a tank where you can like walk out, you don't die for like 6 seconds, and then hopefully you can do something with that.
Sure. I mean, fine, whatever. I just don't like the fact that we're touching shit I just don't think it needs to be touched. But
yeah,
you want to play a more mobile tank, play someone else. You know what I'm saying? Like, probably shouldn't be playing Orisa if you can't move. If you feel like you need to move more.
Roadhog. Take a breather. Resource regeneration rate increased from 8 to 10 per second. This is a reversion to Roadhog's previous resource regeneration rate to improve his primary tanking abilities uptime. There were several adjustments to reduce the power of this ability, but they may not have been necessary as Roadhog has been underperforming for some time now. So this is like when you're not using it, it regenerates faster, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So you get it back quicker. You get your heal back quicker.
It's funny because this reminds me exactly the same thing as the Orisa. Like, this is them being like, don't worry, we're not buffing them too much, but they keep giving nudges, so that it's like, people aren't going to freak out. Neither of these changes are things that are going to make people freak out about the hero or be like, is this hero meta now? But it feels like enough to be like, hey, we need to start getting these guys in line. Because I wouldn't be surprised if Orisa and Roadhog win rates are pretty low.
Probably,
These do feel like pure win rate buffs, It's like, we just want to nudge the win rate up a little.
Which is on your point there, Scott, actually, which is kind of contrary to my point, but I think it's something worth bringing up, is that the community is terrible at overreacting, like unbelievable. So actually doing these small changes like this is actually beneficial in that regard. I know it's obviously contrary to my kind of point, but two different views. Because as soon as a big change ends up coming through, people are like, this is the worst game. Why would you even make Overwatch? Just delete the game, and they completely blow things out of proportion. So doing small things like this, I actually completely understand, where they're just like, oh, a little sprinkle. Oh, it's not anything crazy, guys. Don't worry. Oh, another little sprinkle. And then it like slowly builds up. So yeah, actually it does kind of make sense in that regard, because holy fuck, do the community react badly. My God, I can't wait to see the 6 YouTube videos about why this is terrible, and this, after a big fucking change happens.
It's a small change, and I think we should treat it as such and move on.
Yeah.
You can heal more if you're Roadhog. You can heal more in your games. Hopefully, my team picks on up. All good. Moving on. Sigma has an interesting change, actually, where the Hyperspears, which is the primary fire, impact damage reduced from 25 to 15, and the explosion damage, like when they hit or like when they reach their end, that damage has increased from 30 to 40. So they're just moving some damage figures around, moving 10 from the impact to 10 to the AoE, and it no longer deals damage to self, which some people are pretty upset about, because apparently they like that for...
Can you not boost anymore as Sigma?
I'm not good enough a Sigma player.
Maybe that's the reason people are upset about it. It doesn't give you the push.
A little push, a little boop.
It doesn't give you the little boost, because that was some nice Sigma
niche,
tech.
though.
It is very niche.
Yeah, like think how many people in the world are using that to like move around.
What skill ceiling?
The people I'm following, which is like 200 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the really hardcore Sigma players want it though. Like they want the ability to have that skill
The
ceiling.
rock jump.
And it's not exactly like it affects too much else, right? Unless like fucking noobs are just shooting themselves in the face against a wall, you know what I'm saying? So like, removing stuff like that's very high skill ceiling is kind of bad. Although it says no longer deals damage to self, but the knockback of the spheres was what actually pushed him. So like, maybe I
wouldn't be surprised if those things are they're coded the same way. Like I think I'm sure the reason this comes in, right? So it's like net they're doing the same damage, right? But the reason this comes in, this would mean that if someone's in your face, because it's doing 40 damage, if they're in your face, you're doing 80 damage to yourself. Like maybe, like if they're that close, you're doing 80 damage to yourself with left click. Yeah. And I think you'd be surprised. Like I'm always surprised with how much Sigmas end up like killing themselves, right, with their own sphere. So like I wonder if they were like, hey, we want to make this change, and they're like, hey, it feels like I'm taking a shit ton of damage from my own stuff. So that's why they like make this kind of change. Because as I said, like, yeah, maybe it helps a ton of other people in the game, and it's only affecting like a very small people. It'd be cool if they could split those two and like Make it so it doesn't do damage, but you can still do the jump. Maybe that's something they could add in the future. But
I mean,
I understand
like,
the change.
It depends how it's done, right? Because the boop,
Exactly.
it might
I
not
don't
be
know if that's
offset,
possible, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, we're gonna have to jump into the source code for this one.
As someone who's also a bad Sigma player, I kind of like that it's more forgiving now where you aim. And also like breakpoints, like range breakpoints, like even though you don't have to like direct hit someone, but as long as they're nearby where it ends and expires and explodes.
Breakpoint?
Then...
I mean, the one shot is still there, right?
It's all
I
the
mean,
same.
there are
If you
times I will
combo
shoot
everything, it's still
towards
the same.
someone and I'll do like the explosion damage, but it won't be an impact, you know, because my range ends a Sigma. So, I mean, it's 10 damage per, which is 20
It's just
damage
more
per.
forgiving. It's just better for noobs, basically.
Yeah, and I'm a noob, so
Yeah,
here
exactly.
we go. But I was telling you earlier on stream, Costa, that if you're just thinking relatively speaking, Sigma, because he doesn't have armor, he just has shield and health, is getting like a bit of a buff here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying it's that they're buffing Sigma directly, but like the second order effects of them nerfing armor means that Sigma is stronger because Sigma doesn't have armor. So it's a stronger tank relative to the other tanks, if you're thinking like power-wise or balance-wise, before this patch. So I'm just putting that out there. I don't think we're gonna have a Sigmeta, but I'm just saying that Sigma worth experimenting where you can get away playing some more Sigma maybe. Because I do think that
Speed is still too good. Sorry to break it to you, Chief.
He does die to
all
speed.
right. I've had people
still
doubt
too
me
good.
before. I've had people doubt me before.
Yeah, and I'm
I'm
gonna
just
continue to
saying,
doubt.
be warned when you come at me, Jaws. Be warned.
If you think this moved the needle, him getting a little bit more noob friendly, then I don't know what to tell you, Chief.
It has literally
Juno
moved the
exists.
needle because, relatively speaking, Sigma is stronger than the other tanks.
Exists.
Okay. All right.
Speed matter.
Well, we'll see. Maybe Juno, Jotes, Goats.
Bro.
Well,
They aren't even playing Sigma on Circuit Royale.
all right. Well, I'm not saying
I
we're
know,
gonna
that's
see
sad.
Sigma on New Junk City. I'm just saying maybe you can play Sigma on,
Well,
on
that's
other
my
maps.
point. The one Sigma map where everybody goes Sigma, no one is playing Sigma.
I
All
think
right, maybe I'll
I
catch
think-
this in 3 months, but
Yeah.
still.
Yeah,
To
3
get-
months,
let
bro,
me
he's like,
defend
"Oh, catch it
Johnny.
in new season.
Let me defend Johnny because if we do get Juno nerfs come through, like let's say whatever happens, Juno
Yeah,
gets
if
nerfed,
Juno gets
all of
nerfed, I
a
can
sudden
see it.
that speed becomes less valuable, and then Sigma
Yeah.
gets more valuable because now he has the AoE, and then Johnny can cash in on his fucking Sigma stonks or whatever fucking hill
6
he's dying
months
on right
later.
now.
I'm an investor. I invest for the long term in my takes, okay?
Buy low, sell high, Johnny.
But that's such a dog shit way of doing it, bro. Because you're like, oh, I'm going to invest in my stonks right now, and then 6 months later I'm going to cash in. I'm like, bro, there's going to be like 7 patches in between then. Yeah, I hope there's a different meta for fucking tanks.
The Juno one worked out, so I'm just saying, I'm on an outstreak here. Be wary.
Yeah, to be fair,
wary.
my take on Juno was terrible.
Don't worry, don't worry. All right. So I'm just saying, you don't need to leave. If you want to leave this conversation with anything, I'm just saying that with the armor nerf, Sigma doesn't have armor, so
They're
he's
downvoting us on Reddit as we speak. We got to.
Yeah.
well, that's nothing new. Anyway, moving on. What's the next hero? Bastion. Spread reduced from 2.2 to 2 degrees, and the ultimate costs 12% less. So, a bit easier with the reduced spread to hit smaller targets. There you go.
Oh, cool.
Bastion buffs. Oh my god.
It's kind of funny that Bastion's becoming more popular. Like, at least in NA right now without the Juno, because they were like, we're not going to play Juno. One team was like, fuck you. And then everybody was like, okay, fine. I guess we can't like GA Juno. But it's kind of funny that Bastion was seeing more play. Like, Seeker was playing it on Circuit Royale, and there was a few other teams too. Like, oh, fuck it. I guess we balled with the character, and it actually works out super well. And it's kind of funny now that they're getting buffs. I don't think Bastion's going to be that good, but you never know. It could be more meta.
Especially because what Solomon's highlighting, it's not a buff to affect tanks, which is why it feels like a lot of people play it. It's just blow up the tank. It seems like this is more to make it easier to kill squishier targets.
Yeah.
Good, actually.
I think if anything, the ultimate cost reduced by 12% seems like a lot. Like that ultimate could be pretty good if used correctly. So
if
it's
you're
like
melting tanks too, you get out so
yeah,
fast.
and so you're going to keep melting tanks. You're going to keep doing more damage. With this change, you're going to be able to do more damage in this assault to squish your targets because you have better spread. Plus, you're reducing the ultimate cost. Like those things compound to each other. So it'll be interesting to see how much this actually affects Bastion because I don't know. I don't play enough Bastion to be like, oh, those 0.2 degrees, I'm fucking business, baby. Like, I
Where's
don't know.
Bastion main when you do it?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, let me on that point as well. You talked about the ultimate being strong. You are two support players, so I'm gonna ask you this right now. I just came up with this question on the spot. Are you more scared when the Bastion drops all 3 at once, or uses 2 and then saves the last one?
The best Bastions, they'll throw it in a direction where it's in front of you, so they'll know you go backward and they'll shoot the other 2 in the opposite direction.
Yeah,
or they'll shoot one backwards and they'll shoot the other one forward again. There's like a lot of mind games.
There
that you
are
can
ways to do it.
There's a lot of interesting mind games. Yeah.
You just have to. You're basically getting. You're trying to control the support player's movement, or like whoever's movement, right? So like if you place it in front of them, you want them to walk back into a pillar or into a wall or something where you can just pin them in. It's a hard ult to use though. Like good Bastion. Like I'm gonna bring up Seeker again, but like Seeker would always do 2 then 1. He would always do like bang bang and then wait for like a long time, almost before it expires, so like people have forgotten he exists, and then would hit the last one, and it does hit actually a surprising amount of time. There's lots of ways to do it, but I'm not that scared because most Bastion players just don't know how to use it.
Yeah,
it's just like boom, boom, boom.
It's very obvious when someone doesnn't know how to use it. But sometimes they show. I'm like,
super
I'm
obvious.
good. I'm not too worried about
Motherfuckers
it.
do it in a straight line. You just like go to the left.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to Cassidy here, who has his flashbang modified a little bit, where the hinder duration has been reduced from 1.2 to 0.9 seconds, but the explosion damage is increased from 45 to 75, and the Deadeye ultimate cost reduced by 10%. Avril, if you how do we feel about this? Is Cassidy still the counter dive pick, or? Like 75 just sounds good against anyone.
That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage.
75 against any character in the game.
I mean, in a single ability that is like pretty easy to hit at close range. Damn, son, that's a significant chunk of damage. I think hinder duration reduced. Like a lot of people complain about hinder. Hinder's like not a fun ability to go up against. I agree. So
does its job.
I guess I still think it's more healthy than like a straight up flashbang stun like it used to be in Overwatch 1. Why? That's just my opinion. Yeah, it's a lot of damage though. I don't know how to feel about the one. I think who's it really going to annoy? This is going to be really bad for like low HP flanking DPS. I think this combined with more heroes being at 225 HP probably makes this pretty strong. I don't know if this will shove Cass back in the meta, but it might. This is a lot of damage.
It feels like a weird thing because it's like, yeah, it's frustrating to get hindered for so long, but you know what's also frustrating? Dying. So like if this 30 damage ends up like hitting that breakpoint more, and it feels like you're just like dying to these types of things, like they're trying to, obviously they're like, hey, we want to find a way to make hinder less annoying. So they want to reduce the effectiveness of it, but then it's like that's so much upfront damage.
They're just trying to make him a counter dive character.
Yeah,
like,
and
they're really pushing him in that way because the hinder wasn't the thing that really. Well, it does fuck you if people focus you like super hard, but like having this much explosive damage against like a Genji Tracer is like, damn, that's kind of nasty. Fucked.
The question is, do you dislike that? Right? Do you think it's bad to have a hit scan character who is like, hey, they're playing a hard dive. I want to be able to play a DPS that can somewhat hold their own, or at least be a threat to people diving you.
I think it's good. I think having that identity, because Cassidy's always kind of been that. That's his identity, is like, I'm going to slow down or like stun the flanking characters. I think that's a good thing. I don't know how and like what breakpoints this is really going to find. Like, how much damage does it do with like Tracer now? Like, what's the Tracer breakpoint? Like, how much extra damage can she really take if she gets hit with the flashbang? Like a flashbang body shot kind of thing. But I think it's a good thing, yeah. I think 30 is a lot of damage to increase it, though. That seems a little wild.
High. Yeah.
Maybe like a 65, a 20 increase rather than the 30, because 30, especially with these new healths, is like, it's quite a lot.
So
I guess we'll see.
Peacekeeper does 140 headshot plus 75. That's 215 plus melee, 245 if you headshot flashbang melee.
255 with a melee. Melee's.
Yeah.
Melee 40 damage? Or 30, I might have just
no,
gaslit myself into thinking it was 30. Yeah.
Didn't
Overwatch.
they change it a while ago?
Yeah, it's gone back and forth over time. I think it's 40. It is 40. Yeah. I was like, I went to say 40, and then I was like, wait, is it 30? No, it's definitely 40, yeah.
You are meleeing in that combo, though, normally.
Yeah. Well, you might, right? Like, I think I would against the Tracer. I would do against the Tracer, right? Like, if they're that close.
Tracers, good Tracers are not playing that close, though.
Yeah, well, that's
I mean, whatever, right?
But that's the point of Cassidy's
that's
flashbang, right? Is that Tracers aren't going to, like, you're supposed to be a threat, so Traces can't just feel like they can just walk around you, right?
So wait, how much is it with body shot, flashbang?
70.
145, I believe.
Oh yeah, so
145 with body shot.
Not a lot when they're like hindered too. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I think 30 is a little bit too high. Maybe like a 20 increase would have been better, but yeah, because it does seem like a tactical nuke now.
It doesn't.
It
doesn't break any. So... It doesn't break any damage breakpoints, so I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll find out, right? Like if it's bad, we'll
find out.
Yeah, we'll find out about it, right?
Next patch, they're going to buff Cassidy's weapon damage, and he's going to be alright.
Yeah, I do want to say as well, actually, that I do think that they've really cleaned up the, I guess you could call it like the hit scan sub role, where I feel like all hit scan have a pretty defined, identity within the hit scan category. So, Cassidy just on flankers, Ashe for some long range damage, Widow the most extreme one, and then Sojourner some more mobile. Like I think they've balanced that. They've done a really good job there. We see a lot of those different heroes now, based on what map you're playing and what comp you're playing. So, because there was a time where we just saw Cassidy doing everything all at once. So I feel like they've done a good job balancing around that, so all the hit scan heroes are involved. All right, moving on. We got Hanzo. So they've done quite some interesting changes to Hanzo. So the maximum damage goes from 120 to 125. So if you headshot now, that's 250 damage. So you can one-shot a lot of heroes in the game now. But normal arrows from the Storm Arrow are no longer affected by global projectile size increases, and the time to fully charge increases from 0.72 to 0.87. So it takes longer to charge your shot. It's a smaller arrow, but you can one-shot 250 HP targets.
Yeah.
So we're back to old Hanzo, basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
Basically.
They address it. They address it here of like they say they want to bring it back because they believe that if it doesn't have the one shot, then the identity of the hero is like really poor. Like it kind of needs that as like a sniper type hero. But if you want to take that away, it's going to require a rework. Where did they say that? Oh, without a much larger rework. They want to have that core gameplay. So I understand it. I don't know how much smaller the hitbox is going to feel with that change and obviously it's charged. But I don't know. Hanzo's kind of been in the dumpster for a while now. So it'll be interesting. I hate Hanzo one shot. I'm a support player. It's like literally built to like ruin our day. But I don't know. As I said, you got to do. I thought they were looking for a rework. I thought that's why we haven't seen much.
Character, man. It was Hanzo is so, I don't know, he's so iconic, I guess, to Overwatch in a way. I don't know.
It's like Reinhardt. You can't rework Reinhardt. Like we know.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is one of the things. It's one of the things that's just like bad about the design is like I feel like you can't win with everybody. You're either gonna have Hanzo mains happy or Hanzo plays happy, or you're gonna have everyone else happy because no one likes to just die to this Hanzo one shot. I don't know. Yeah. I'm personally more okay to dying to a Widow one shot than a Hanzo one shot.
100%.
I feel like, dude, when 100%. I die to a Hanzo one shot, I'm like, dude, that guy just got lucky. I walked into his arrow, like he didn't do anything. Yeah. I know a Widow one shot. I'm like, okay, that took skill. But yeah, I fucking hate dying to a Hanzo one shot. It's probably the worst one shot to die to in the game.
It'll be interesting to see if that sentiment comes back because I felt great about Hanzo recently of like, oh yeah, no, Hanzo sucks. That's great for us. But it's like good. Obviously they don't want to have heroes that are just like garbage tier.
Why not? I think that's fine. Some heroes deserve to be on the farm. I think that's cool.
And I think especially with like competitive viability and stuff, I think Hanzo was okay at that point because he wasn't like super OP broken or anything. He was kind of bad, but like I do think, and I will always think that it's okay to have those bad heroes because there's still a lot of players that aren't us, that are casual, jump on Xbox every now and then, play some fucking Overwatch, that are going to pick up Hanzo and they don't give a shit about how viable he is.
Yeah, but if he's bad and he just doesn't feel because like the problem with Hanzo,
0.5% win rate and like pick rate and shit. Sorry,
we've all played Hanzo and you've shot a fully charged arrow and it hits someone in the head and they don't die and it's actually just like the worst feeling ever. It feels really bad. So I think that's what they're trying to combat. Like he just feels bad to play, and I wonder if that's like shown in his like play rate or something like that. It's hard to know, but like I don't know. I think we need a rework of the hero. Like, they want to build him around his bow, but his bow kind of doesn't really function in its current state.
Bows in general are just very difficult to design in a game like this because bows always require like that pullback time, and because of that, you feel like it needs to do a ton of damage to a slow firing weapon. So bows in every game end up being just like this. In a PvE game, it's fine. In a PvP game, it's fucking annoying.
Yeah.
That's
And
a problem.
that's what I tried to do with in my creator card. Like when I did the Hanzo change, I essentially wanted to make his gameplay loop feel more storm arrows. So it's like he doesn't have the one shot, but he has like some form of consistent damage. But the thing that like I wasn't able to play test it obviously when we did it is when you played it, it felt really fucking clunky because of the pullback time. Even though it was a super fast pullback time, it just felt weird to press. So it's like I don't know how you solve that, as you said.
If it's like a super fast pullback time, you might as well have a gun that has like a slight
exactly.
delay,
Why not
like
play
a
Cassidy?
like
right?
Then
or something.
it's just not a bow anymore. It's inherently
exactly.
a problem with bows
It's just
as a
a gun.
weapon.
That's
the problem.
Yeah, I agree.
I will see how this feels because like we don't know because the hitbox changes and stuff. So like if I'm getting randomly more one shot, it's gonna feel terrible. But that offset of like being old hitbox size might feel pretty decent. It's like okay, sure, I got randomly headshot from across the map. I think this is something that's gonna take maybe a week of like actual playtime to be like, okay, Hanzo's fucking annoying. But then still, Hanzo, I just don't think as a character is very good. Like, a lot of the time, it's like, okay, we're going onto a map where, like, snipers are decent. Okay, Hanzo, you could probably pick him here. Sure, Junkertown, Circuit Real, but then you go to, like, maybe a King's Row is also kind of good because there's a lot of, like, lineups and shit you could do. But, like, faster maps like Control, you're probably not picking Hanzo for, like, a lot of that because you want to play something fast or you want to play something that can control, like, a high ground, like an Ashe or, like, a Cassidy or something. So, like, Hanzo's in that spot where I don't think unless he's turbo broken, you're ever going to be picking him in every single map. So I think this change is probably not a bad thing. It will definitely feel annoying when you get one shot, but like again, actually testing that hitbox change, that is going to be, and playing against it, that's going to be the real deciding factor because Hanzo's never really been perma meta apart from like Grab Jagger meta, you know?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I understand why they brought back the one shot because it fits with hero Hanzo's identity. But at the same time, he pokes. His storm arrows, like he does hella poke. In those kind of spam duels. So I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another Hanzo modification like within the next season, just to like kind of like make sure that they iron out like his strengths and hero identity a little bit more. So we'll see what happens. But back to Hanzo one shots. There we go. Moving on, we got Venture now getting slightly less shield from using abilities. Not too big of a change.
Yeah, she's they've been very oppressive to play against. Like just very annoying. Like there's sometimes the amount of shields they get is like, so when they burrow and then they use the drill dash, they get 80 shields, and that's annoying to get through. So I like that they're pulling it back a little bit. I'm sure it'll feel better to play against.
It was only a matter of time before people like started to really understand this character. This character has like so much depth to them because their playstyle is so weird. It's not like a hit scan. It's not like a sniper. It's not like a tracer kind of. Well, technically, I guess it is like a tracer kind of character, but like there's no gun. It's like you burrow underground. You're pushing people. You're like jumping up into the sky. You know what I mean? There's so many different like nuances. It was only a matter of time before this character got really fucking annoying to play against. And the good Venture players, they just roll you. Because they know like where to push you, how to push you, and like the shields are ridiculous. I'm still surprised that they get shields off of just using abilities, not like actually hitting them like Doomfist Slam was. I think it's okay, but if they get anywhere near strong, like actual permapick kind of thing, it's you got to move that onto like actually hitting abilities.
Free value like this isn't good.
310 as a DPS is a little wild. Well, that's after the change, obviously, but it's still a lot of shields.
It's just too much free value, I think like
free value,
heroes getting this without having to do anything.
Yeah,
is just
using
like,
abilities.
This doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good for people playing against.
I still think it's okay Venture. Because Venture is a hero that is relatively hard to play. Like when you see a bad Venture, it's like very obvious. It's like Doomfist, right? Where you see a bad Doom, that guy's using all his cooldowns when he goes in, and then he has nothing. He's just walking. That guy is just walking home, or he's walking back to spawn. A Venture's the same way, where like if you see a bad Venture, you can easily tell, and you can just insta kill them because their hitbox is big and they're very slow.
I think they're obviously just built to be an assassin in the way that they're played, at least at the high ranks, and that's really frustrating to play against because it kind of reminds me of old Sombra, where when they go in, they can one-shot you, but if they don't, they burrow and run away. So you don't really have effective punish, especially as a support. You don't have effective punish unless they fuck up against the Venture, but they're just going to keep going, and they're going to keep doing it, and if you're not ready for it, you just die, and if you are ready for it, they just run away, and you can't really punish. So it just feels really bad that it doesn't feel like there's any cost to them to try and assassinate you over and over and over again. And as Jack said, when you play against a really good one, it's just so oppressive, and it's just very frustrating to fight into.
That is the most beneficial playstyle to the character, to like actually doing well in the game, is hiding in a corner, waiting for people to push past you, or like hiding. Well, wave respawns kind of help this with supports, but unlike other squishy characters, but hiding in a corner, just waiting, going for these big flanks, and just sitting there, and then pushing people into a direction they don't want to be in, and like slightly taking control of the character away from you. It is a frustrating playstyle, but then that's how the character is supposed to be played. But again, kind of capped by the fact that the hitbox is kind of big and the skill ceiling of the character is also kind of big. I still don't really like you getting shields, but whatever. I mean, they're tuning it down, which is nice.
I think I'm fine with Venture getting shields from the abilities, but you know, I think this is actually going to be a pretty significant, or not significant, but I think it's going to definitely change you securing more picks on Venture before they're like able to reburrow or something like that after going in. Guess what? How much is it after like the shields? Maybe like 20, 30 total health after a dive? Something like that.
Well, Solomon just did it there. It was like 310 like minimum, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Which is still like a lot.
Because whenever I do play against Venture, I feel like they always get away with 10 health. So I'm like, we get away with 20, 30 health on New Junk City or something like that. Okay, next up, we got Moira, who gets her coalescence damage per second increased from 70 to 85, which...
It seems like a lot.
It sounds like a lot, and in the developer comment they say that Moira's ultimate didn't feel threatening enough after the health adjustments across the cast and her own lower health value. So this is after the Season 9 health changes, I suppose.
Right.
So they're bringing it up a little bit to...
Maybe that's not a lot then, I don't know. 70 to 85.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm just worried what it incentivizes. I'm worried how it might incentivize DPS Moira playstyle a little bit, which...
I mean, that's how you play.
You are for the coalescence, you are supposed to try and deal damage to it. I'm
Yeah.
not upset with that.
Yeah, that's how you fuck people with the coal and then you escape a shift.
I will say,
like perma healing, right?
it does change a breakpoint. You can now, in 3 seconds, kill a 250 HP hero.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. It used to take 4 seconds with 70 damage. 85, you do it in 3.
Extra damage on top of that too thrown in. I don't know. Seems like a lot on the face of it, but maybe it's not that bad.
Like, it's so, like, obviously it's a lot of damage while coalescence is happening, but like that's very infrequent that you get like a lot of coalescences, and like it's just making that ultimate period better, which
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe they needed. I don't play Moira. I haven't played Moira in such a long time. I'm not. I can't be like, oh yeah, you know, I feel weak when I play with coalescence. I just haven't really seen it.
I don't want to go
it's
back.
just too good. Like you're not playing Moira. The high ranks are not playing Moira. I had to break it to you. IRP, that guy's the only one playing Moira, and that guy's playing tank now for some reason. I don't know why.
To me, I thought Moira back to Moira, baby.
I thought Moira was one of those heroes that was like, this is in a good spot. You know, let's just pat you on the head and like, let's leave you here. We don't need you in the pro meta. It's all good. We'll play Kiriko instead.
This could also be one of those nudging things of it's like, hey, they're kind of underperforming. Let's give this a nudge, and it's because it's like not a big deal. It's not going to make Moira super strong, but it's not, you know, any buffs above.
Buffing the win rate by 1%.
Yeah,
let's go, baby.
Yep. All right, Lifeweaver. Nice little, I want to call it quality of life, but really they increased the maximum ammo from 80 to 100. So I combined that with, I think it was a pretty recent change where like you regen your health heal while you're shooting. So now it
Cool.
gets you more time to reload. So
That was like a very quality of life thing. I mean, Lifeweaver's like okay, I guess, but he's not anything to write home about.
Yeah.
Fine.
It really feels like they're trying to mix in the damage, like incentivize people to do damage on this hero, because
Yeah.
before it was obviously just very heal body, and that's what a lot of people's frustration was. So now it's like increasing the skill cap of the hero if there's actually good reasons to put in damage.
I don't know. Like, I feel like that's fine for the identity of the hero, because the hero is very like, I don't want to say like holy priest, but you ain't doing damage. Like you should be.
But you can
priest.
now. Like that's the point.
You
like
can
you can,
now.
and you
You
should.
can. You want
is
to
the
throw a little
point.
bit of damage in there, but I'm like, yeah, you're.
It's
you're
like
about
disc
utility,
became
my
meta,
guy.
and it's like, okay, I guess I'll press some DPS buttons at some point.
Yeah, disc is sick. That's Zen, bro. Zen's a disc priest. Feels good, bro. People in the audience right now, like, bro, these guys are speaking in runes.
Yeah.
It's the World of Warcraft episode, okay? We're allowed to speak about WoW.
This is the one hero that I think needs to be in the pat on the head category. Please, you're
I agree.
you're not in a good place. I don't want to say good place, but you just need to be left where you are.
oh boy.
Yeah, Siri agrees.
Siri agrees. Siri
Yeah.
agrees.
Facts.
So I don't know. I don't want to see any big buffs on Lifeweaver. I don't want to see like, oh, Lifeweaver's win rate's at 49.9%. We need to do some buffs here. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
let's
I
chill
mean, the
out.
only thing,
Not
the
do
way you
that.
buff him is like, oh, you give him more heal, and then it's like, holy, they heal too much. Like,
The only way you buff him is to increase his stats, and I don't want that.
yeah, you
No.
don't want it. Like with Juno right now, I think you don't want a stat stick hero, and Juno is a stat stick. Like, she just does a lot.
I
Even
gotta
when
say,
you were playing him, Scott, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like how much damage and healing you do. I'm like,
even when Scott
I'm
was
like,
playing
oh
it,
my god. Like, yeah, Scott never doing healing, bro. I'm always
Yeah.
not doing healing. I never do. I always do
What?
the healing. In the
Yeah, that's the most insane thing ever from my Alari duo.
yeah. When I'm playing BAP, I do more. But like
Yeah.
Alari in general, I think at the moment, and what Lifeweaver was like a while ago was like, it's just you're just there on raw numbers. Like, it is insane how much damage and healing and everything else you do. With Lifeweaver, it was just like damage. Oh, sorry, healing. Sorry. With Juno right now, it's like you do everything. But for Lifeweaver to have one of those things, I think it's okay. I think this is a quality of your life change. It's not going to move shit. I don't think.
Wait.
Incentivizing players to do actual damage though, unlike Mercy. So.
Well, Lifeweaver actually is beginning to do more and more, right? Like when he first came out, he was like literally pure healing. Like the only thing, like the pull was like the only other thing that
slightly
did.
changing that.
Because the pedal platform was irrelevant. It's still kind of irrelevant, but at least it has more
It's
use
nice now.
cases. It has more use cases, but it's not like a huge thing. But it's like now they're trying to get people to do a little bit of damage. Like if you're throwing some chip damage, throwing some 100 damage into a tank here and there, like that matters more. And it's I think they're doing a good job of like making the hero more engaging to play and not just like doing one
Which
thing.
is
And
cool.
that's which I don't think Lifeweaver is going to be that heal bot. It seems like they keep trying to do that much of like you can just heal, but there's more you can do if you want to.
Which is interesting if you look at it from like a game play perspective and like the hero roster. If you put them on a scale of like heal bot to like I do damage, Mercy's on one end, heal bot, you can end the game at 0 damage. Most Mercy players do. And then at the very end, you have like Zen, who's like, you are doing a fuck ton of damage. And like, but, you're not healing as much. So like, there's a in between there. Lifeweaver's on this end with Mercy, and like, you're not doing an incredible amount of damage, but like, you're doing healing. And I think in a way, it's a good like transition hero to like go to these other ones that like Ana, for example, which you can do a lot of damage on Ana. But you are doing a lot of healing too, mostly.
Should
healing.
unbind Harmony. So you just do
like-
more damage and no
Yeah,
healing.
sure.
Yeah.
And then BAP is the same thing as Ana, whereas like you're doing a lot of damage, probably more than Ana most of the time. And then you're going towards that very end. So like Lifeweaver in that way is a good stepping stone hero on that like scale of I do no damage to I do a lot of damage and a little healing kind of thing. So I think I like the way he is currently, and that I guess they're trying to like move him towards the center a little bit without going too far, which I think is good. He should stay there.
I gotta say, I got a pretty good relationship with Lifeweaver players these days. At some point it was like, what are you doing in my games? Like, why did you pick this hero? Oh my god, it's a loss. Now I feel okay about it. I got a Lifeweaver on my team. Am I all right? You probably at this point know what you're doing. The grips are usually pretty good, and they actually kind of save me and give me a chance to like re-engage afterwards. So, Lifeweaver players, if Lifeweaver is your thing, I'm not too pissed about it anymore. So
I'm just glad Josh Sideshow Wilkinson is not playing Overwatch right now.
Yeah.
Because my God,
Yeah.
that guy would only pick Lifeweaver and he would grip everybody off the map. Thank goodness. He's only into
and after shatters, and after grabs,
exactly.
and after
You would be shattering
Dragon
Johnny
Blades.
and he'd grip you off the map.
Oh, I'm gripping my nano-blading Genji.
Yeah.
I thought you wanted to be over here.
Yeah.
Peel
Need
for
his
me,
help,
peel.
bro.
Before we get to the next hero, I just want to give a quick shout out to 2Slice, who donated $20 to us in the YouTube chat live. So thank you, 2Slice.
Nice.
Can't wait to
Legend.
soak up this sloppy patch note slit show while I continue to turbo feed in ranked on ball.
That is an unbelievable set of words. Like,
I don't think anyone has ever donated using those words before.
The English language
So-
can be used in this way. It's true.
It's
you're going with
I'm not even gonna read into
Thesaurus,
it.
and he was on the word S. He was on the letter S. He was like,
yeah. Thank you for the $20. Enjoy your ball feeding in ranked. Good chat. All right. Finally, Zenyatta.
So true, so true.
Speaking of
Destruction orb.
balls,
Damage increase from 48 to 50. And Orb of Discord cooldown per target reduced from 7 to 6 seconds. So now if you Discord someone and then
That's
you
real
lose
nice.
it, you can put it back faster rather than just wait for 7 seconds, which it was a pretty big gripe I had with our Discord in the first place. Developer comment, they're like, we're leaning into the glass kind of nature. So now you can right-click one-shot 250 HP targets, just body shotting. So
That's a
there you go.
good thing. Yes.
I don't know if
that
I-
break point
I-
is a good thing.
I don't know if it is purely a great thing. Like, obviously, it's nice.
Zen
It's interesting
sucks.
hearing the developer comment and how they're like thinking about it. If it's like, hey, we've in the past tried to be like, well, how do we make Zen more viable? If we make him more survivable, then people will play him. But the problem is, if he becomes too survivable, he's like a fucking menace to society.
Yeah.
So I actually kind of like this, where they're like, hey, we're just making it an even greedier pick of like, you want to do damage, then you know you're going to do more damage, because he has been struggling overall, just because he's like, he just fucking dies with how fast the game has been playing. Maybe that's just because Diva's so strong. Like, she just she looks in your direction and you just like fall over. So it'll be
It's a
interesting to
bad
see if
hero
this
these days.
it'll be interesting to see if this changes anything. I don't think it will, at least right now. This feels like one of the changes where you're like, it makes Zen feel better, but with how fast the game is and how tanky everything is, it's not going to be that big. It's not going to change anything. But then once the game slows down, everyone's going to be like, Zen's a problem, you know, type of thing.
I do wonder.
I think it's good. With you just released another speed hero. Make Zen his true identity. On that scale again, all the way over here, where you're doing a lot of damage, not as much healing kind of deal with Zen. And I like that we can now body shot 250 targets. Like, that happens so rarely nowadays, where like you could actually land a nice lineup. Like, so rare, because everybody is so fucking quick. And the breakpoint's obviously being changed. It blew. So yeah, I actually really like this change. I think it's sick.
I do wonder.
And also, sorry, Avril, one more point about the Discord orb. That change previously, it felt so clunky reapplying Discord orb. So clunky. So
Yeah,
like,
I don't like the
76
cooldown, yeah.
76 is really sick. Sorry, Avril.
Because the Diva nerf also came through, and there's an armor nerf as well. I don't see. I mean, Diva can still just fly at Zen, but like, you don't get this insane speed boost through the ring anymore. So combined with everything, Zen might be a lot more survivable against that type of comp. But beyond that, Discord versus tanks, especially with that buff, might be really good now, considering the armor globally got nerfed. I do wonder if that will
Sigma better too.
throw Zen into
Stocks
tanks.
are already coming higher.
I mean, I can
in
see it. I
theory,
can see a
slow
world.
comps, right?
Yeah,
I can see a
Zen.
world where
Yeah.
Slow comps.
100%.
I mean, because the thing that was just deleting everybody was Diva flying through the ring, and now that's been nerfed. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
yeah,
look, you could also play Juno Zen. You give
Yeah.
Zen speed ring if he's in trouble. Juno also does like an absurd amount of healing. Like, that
All right.
very well could be a comp
Actually,
if we do slow the game
Juno-
slightly.
Juno torpedoes on a discorded target. It's a pure lock-on ability. So that's a lot of damage to Juno and Zen at the same time, if you think about it. And Juno's a hit scan as well, right? So
Juno also does a lot of
Oh.
damage to the enemy, son. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
she would
well-
melt Zen.
what's Discord plus like torpedo damage at the same time? That's like got to be a
oh my
lot.
god, this is cursed.
No one has picked Zen in like
Dude.
6 months.
Yeah.
Dude,
no
what
one
about
knows.
that Juno Sen support you?
I mean,
What are we
it
doing?
genuinely could be a thing. Like, she is.
No, it could. Because
She is very powerful.
Yeah, she can, because she can kind of fill the role that like you have with like in Bap Zen, right? Like the reason you play a lot of Bap obviously does a lot of damage himself, but it's because he can heal everyone. He has enough self-healing that he can kind of cover everyone. Juno does the same thing, right? Like she has less burst healing like on demand and stuff like that, so probably not, but it's not the craziest thing to think of.
And you
I'm not gonna rule against. I'm not counting out the Discord and orbital ray combo.
Oh my god.
It's 106. The missile on a Discord target is 106. And
Wow,
then you
damage.
have orbital ray on top. It's like direct damage that just locks on. So
Damn.
you just get hit. And then yeah, orbital ray with Discord at the same time is fucking crazy as well if you think about it.
Yeah, but the way damage amplification stacks, right? It just adds on the original.
Yeah, and then we come in with the flashbang, which now does 75 damage.
Oh my god.
Discord,
Oh my
orbital rays,
God.
flashbang, dead.
One shot.
Sigma, Cassidy, Juno, Sen. Who's our second DPS?
Dash or something.
Hanzo?
Hanzo.
One-shotting? We're so back.
Yeah.
We're so back. I
Scott,
love
what
this
about-
meta. It's great.
Scott, what about
Hanzo, Cassidy, Sen, Juno, Sigma.
Yeah.
Comp.
I will
we
not
could-
be
we-
playing for
Lock
another
it in.
half season.
Lock it in.
can you get double damage flashbang through a window?
Yeah, right.
No.
Projectile.
Oh yeah, through a window, yeah, as long as you don't have orbital ray, because you can't have Zen, Bap, and
And that would
Yeah,
be
yeah,
weird.
yeah.
after
Three
that.
supports.
I know,
Yeah, you got
what I'm
three
saying is
supports.
I'm trying to be like, what if?
Holy.
Yeah, I don't know. What's the most egregious flashbang?
Mercy
there's a
damage
way.
used,
We'll find a
flashbang.
way.
There's
Yeah.
a way. There's no. There's a way, and there will be a Hydron video in the training range about it.
Yeah.
100%.
Play the clip.
That was the funniest clip of all time. Actually.
It was. Anyway, I recently thought about like a Zenyatta slight. It's not a rework, but like adjustment. And I really do feel like they could cook with the Orb of Harmony and Orb of Discord and do something fun. Like I was just like,
Orb of Coalescence.
Yeah.
No, but I was like, what if Orb of Harmony? What if it heals you the same amount it heals the one you're healing? But then it's like, well, people would just put it under your tank and you just heal your tank and you just
Healing.
permanently
You
heal.
are
So there's like
permanently healed,
the incentivization was off with the changes, but I'm like, you could probably make Orb of Discord more fun 2024 somehow, because Zen is a pretty outdated hero.
Nah, but like Zen's
you got
playstyle
Transcendent,
is
like,
Yeah, so is
here's
Reinhardt.
300 healing
Let's get
per
rid of
second.
Reinhardt as well, Johnny. See, how does
So
that feel?
true.
You stay away from Zenyatta, okay?
Wait, I'm just saying you could upgrade, enhance what Zen already has. I'm not saying change out Orb of Harmony. I'm saying you could make Orb of Harmony more engaging somehow in 2024.
But I don't think it needs to be engaged.
We
It doesn't
got
need
2
to be.
fire strikes, bro. I'm
we
good.
don't have to make every character super like 4-dimensional, like crazy shit. Like Zen, like set and forget kind of deal, especially with Orbital Harmony. I think that's perfectly fine. Like having characters that have like a lot of depth, like Juno, like Venture's a really good one. Like so much depth to the character, like doing this fucking bullshit and the other. You need a Zen where you can just like fucking Orbital Harmony, and then your main focus, your main gameplay loop is you are firing fucking left clicks at people and then hitting right clicks a few times. Like that playstyle with the Zen, I think, is very rewarding to a lot of players. Especially if it was hit scan, it would be worse, right? It would feel a lot worse. But like having a projectile like that, the gameplay loop is very rewarding. It's like, oh, okay, I'm aiming this way to like do this, like I'm trying to line up here to try and get a perfect one shot. You're trying to like, I think Zen's perfect the way he is, personally. Obviously that's mad bias because I'm a support player and I love Zen, but like you need heroes like that. You need
Okay,
little heroes.
what
Get them more
if
simple.
you put Orb of Discord on like the enemy Genji,
This
and
sucks.
your
I
Discord
can already tell.
target takes a percentage of damage you deal to other targets, like
Move
a
on.
voodoo doll. It's like a
Move on.
voodoo doll, and you like stab
wrap it up.
Okay, you
This
just shoot the
sucks.
tank. Yeah, so you
This
just shoot the
sucks.
tank.
It's funny
This
because
fucking
every one of
sucks.
your
Just shoot the
ideas
tank.
comes, just put it on the tank.
Yeah, just put it on the tank. Yo,
It's a
fuck the
work
tank
in
player.
progress. All right.
I like it. I like where your head's at, Johnny. I like where your head's at. But stop.
Yeah.
What if replace Transcendence with like Super Saiyan Zenyatta, and you just become like, I don't know, freaking Yamato from Deadlock, and just like you're invincible and you just deal way more damage. And
Oh, give him Valkyrie. Zenyatta
Yeah.
has Valkyrie now.
And
yeah.
so
Yeah,
they can
Valkyrie.
fly. Yeah, I like
Holy
it.
shit.
No ammo.
Wasn't that in a play test or not a playtest, but like a creator code like thing, like a while ago, where Zen could use trance and fly. Or am I
Oh
trolling?
yeah.
We've
You could
we've
fly.
definitely done that
You could
before.
go. There was the
Like
other
we
one.
could fly.
There was the one where you would, when you were charging a right click, you would begin to hover like over time, and then you'd shoot.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, there you go.
That was fun.
See, I'm just saying, you know, like we're
All these ideas are ass.
current day Zenyatta is like a bit Windows XP-ish. You know, we could use an update. I'm just
That's
saying.
fine, bro. Windows XP, one of the best operating systems of all time. My guy's like, yo, he's so Windows XP, one of the best OSs of all time.
I want to make everything like Windows 11. I really feel like it's at the cutting
Johnny's
edge of
like,
making
"Let me
everything fucking worse. You know?
Let me get Windows 8, baby. Let's make everything into a tablet. So we have a start screen that is only squares. That's Johnny's fucking vibe, bro. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
How
Give me
does
Windows
AI
7.
get into Omnix? What's the
Yeah.
deal with AI and Omnix?
Let's make AI shit. Let's go.
Yeah. Look, I don't know. It's even chat is like rallying against me. They're like send us this, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
well,
what the fuck?
I'm just trying to help Zen
know.
players. I'm just trying to help you.
Well, maybe you just keep
asked
playing
me and
tank.
Scott, and me
Yeah,
and
you
Scott
keep
said,
playing tank.
Sounds
You
good.
know?
We're gonna keep him as
That's
he
like
is.
me being like, okay, how about Reinhardt? I feel like Pin's a little outdated. Why don't we get rid of Pin? You know, how does that sound, Johnny?
No, because the equivalent of what I'm doing is saying like, hey, give Reinhardt charge unbreakable, like Mauga Stomp. I'm
well, those
trying
are
to
very
make it
different.
better.
No, you're just making it better flat.
You're just-
Yeah,
you're buffing the
move us on, Johnny. Move us on, Johnny.
Yeah, we need to wrap this up.
Jack has to go to bed. It's 6 p.m.
It's 6 p.m. I gotta go in like half an hour. No, I need to get food though. I'm
All
really
right.
hungry.
They modified some maps a little bit, like Clash. Fast respawn after a point of is captured is removed from Clash. We'll be looking to implement an alternate version of it for Clash in the future. Respawn time for defenders get reduced by 2 seconds for each segment the attackers should secure in the final capture zone. And for Flashpoint, the initial boost of speed heroes receive when leaving the spawn has been increased in duration from 1 second to 2 seconds, and increased maximum potential duration of the speed boost effect from 5 to 6 seconds. I don't even know what the last thing means there, but you get more speed when you walk out of Flashpoint. So, you know, it's been like cozy change. I like it. All good.
I like the
This,
Flashpoint speed game.
this does not fix anything for Clash, by the way.
No,
Clash
it
is
does,
still
Yeah, no way.
completely is still dumb. I'm sorry. Like I'm pretty sure they're working on a much bigger change. We're probably not going to see it till season 13 at this rate, but yeah, I'm personally, for me, I'm not looking forward to seeing Clash in OWCS.
It's
Might
gonna be a
be a
bit
shit show.
weird.
Might be a shit show.
Yeah, I don't think you can look at this and be like, this is what Alec was talking about in his dev blog, right? Like, it's obviously not that specifically.
Yeah.
I think he even said in it was season 13. Maybe I'm just making that up, but yeah, like that. Because if anything, this makes it harder to attack the last point, which I think is, or like there's less reason to attack the final point, which is kind of incentivizing. This change, the 2-second one, it seems like it's trying to address stomps, like the game's ending in like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, because it means that when you're attacking the last point, it's unlikely you're going to get all 3 ticks because they're just going to respawn faster.
Dude,
So
they should just they should just add 5 ticks to the last one.
there you go,
I'm not
yeah.
even lying. I'm not even joking. Like,
Five ticks? Jeez.
yes. The problem is like they're so against the stomps, but dude, I make like a huge Twitter thread about this. But
Yeah,
the
you
problem
did.
is
You
then
kinda
you just have
molded.
you just have. Well, I thought it was quite reasonable. Molding would just be me like actually just being raging the whole time, but without having a point. But the point I made is like you have a game mode and pushes like this as well, but Clash is even more egregious, where the game artificially buffs the losing team per se to stop them from losing. And that's just like so not just anti-competitive, it's just like anti-fun. Because the game just decides, oh, this team's going to win now, just because the game said so. It's like, that's just not fun for anybody. So if you, I don't know, they don't want you to be, they clearly allow you to be able to finish capping, but they actually don't want you to finish capping. And so we get into the weird spot where like, well, you just can't finish capping, but so do you bother attacking at all? Well, is it even, you kind of want to because there's ticks, but then even getting a tick is too hard. So it's like, dude.
I think they're in a serious. I think they're in a serious hole. Holy.
Oh my!
But you know, I think there's a lot of validity to what people are saying, right? Like it is definitely a mode that feels half. It feels like they had already made a lot of the maps and everything had been thing before they'd really solidified what the mode was going to look like, or like it was fully fleshed out. Because I agree there's issues. I don't think it's as bad as everyone makes it out to sound. It's definitely one of the worst ones right now. At least it feels like it. But I don't know how you fix it. Like I don't know how you change it completely change a lot of the
give
issues.
you do it like TF2, or you give it rounds where like you finish capping, make the map
Yeah,
cappable. You
maybe.
finish capping, you score a point, you reset, or something like that.
Right.
But
Or
that's
you
not
just
very
do it rounds-
Overwatch. That's
Yeah,
very
it's
like
not.
breaking the flow of the game.
Or you
like,
just
that
do it,
is
or you do it rounds like
2CP.
control. You do it rounds like control, where like you play a best of 3 within the map or something like that. That would
Yeah.
work. But the
I don't
the
think
way
they.
done
I don't
it-
think they like the way control even works now. I don't think they.
No.
From a gameplay perspective, I don't think they like that break in the game.
they don't like it, but this clearly also doesn't work.
Yeah.
Where like this would someone else explain it. Someone else gave me a great analogy in the thread about like I don't know if you guys play League of Legends, but this ARAM, which is
Yeah.
this is what's kind of like feels like as well. It's 5v5 in a single lane. You just push the other side to seesaw kind of thing. This would be like an ARAM if the Nexus, which is the thing you have to destroy at the end of the map, is functionally destroyable. Like you can go and destroy it, which is the point of the game. But actually, the game just says no, it's not allowed. You go there and you just instantly lose because the game said so, which is what Clash feels like. You go to the final point, you can technically cap it, but realistically, the game says no, you can't, and you just lose. So, what's the point?
When you
That's
say
the
lose, you
problem.
mean lose the fight?
Lose the fight, but it's not only do you lose the fight, the enemy team gets a point for that. But the
Yeah.
point they get is so free. It's like the freest
I-
point ever.
The like you losing first point as well just doesn't feel like a disadvantage at all, because the way
it
you just
shouldn't
need to
be.
win the no, but like it feels like we're just gonna go to our second and we just win this one and then we get a point. It just feels like you only need to win one neutral fight the whole game and then you win.
Yeah.
Because the majority of games are like it just goes like this, dun 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 dun. It's just like back and forth, and then you win one neutral fight and that's it. And I just don't like that with Clash. I don't like Hanaoka either. I think that's the worst of the two maps, and I feel like it's exacerbated on that map. I don't know. That's just a personal thing. I much prefer the Anubis map. But every time I load in, I'm like, this. I don't know how the fuck this is gonna go. It's either gonna end 2 minutes or it's just gonna be the one neutral fight thing, and it just doesn't. The mode doesn't feel good at all.
Correct. Yeah.
I will say I've had one game. I played one yesterday. I was like, that was actually a good game of Clash. Like, it went for 9.5 minutes. It went pushing back and forth. We pushed into their zone. They pushed us into our zone. And then we, like, fought in the middle. And then I think we pushed into theirs for the last win or something like that. And I was like, that's what the formula they perfectly want. But that happens, like, so infrequently. Like, most of my games have felt like, hey, we're bouncing back and forth between D and E. Or, like, it is just, like, incredibly snowbally and stuff like that. So, as I said, they have a real issue here, and I think there's going to need like big sweeping changes to the mode to try and find a way to make it feel better.
Which is going to
I
feel
think
really
that-
weird for OWCS, I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's
I think
gonna
the
be weird, yeah.
easiest way to make
Yeah.
it feel better, in my opinion, is to make the points required to win increase by like let's say 2 more points, and then increase the amount of ticks on last point to like 5, but not have them be so
Interesting.
difficult to take. Because then like you're not just gonna auto finish the game in 2 minutes or whatever, but like you don't feel super punished. I feel like if you can go to last, it should be pretty capital. You shouldn't feel like the game just straight up works against you.
Yeah.
It should be like, okay, I get it. Blizzard doesn't want you to just fully cap through the entire last point and end the game in 2 minutes. Great, whatever. Then at least give something for the attackers, more incentive, add more points there so you can like have the opportunity to cap fast and cap more points or something. But again, you don't finish instantly because there's more points required to like finish the entire map.
It does
that
feel
makes
like
sense.
such a band-aid fix, and I think you guys are right in that there's probably a bigger change coming, because the biggest, everybody was fucking just pissing their bed like, oh my god, please stop these 2 to 3 minute games happening. I'm like, I'm out of this fucking game as quick as fucking possible. Thank God the teams were super unbalanced, or like, the game was never winnable. I'm fucking happy with that. I don't really give a shit, but that was like the biggest grievance, was like, holy moly, these games are so fast. And I kind of get it, but I think it might exacerbate the problem a little bit, make it feel even worse. Getting the respawns on third, because ideally, the mode kind of works. The neutral point, or the midpoint, sorry, is the most neutral. Everybody's got like the even playing field, and then it gets steadily and steadily more defended favored. But they've kind of like, well, we've just put up the walls of Troy, and now you can't cap at all because we spawn every 1 second. So, especially with the new wave respawns too.
I think it's really worth noting here as well is that I think it was said in the same dev blog that the problem with finishing the game in 2-3 minutes, like this is actually a thing in push where like sometimes you lose the first 3 to 4 fights because like they win first fight because of a pick and then they snowball again, then they use their ultimates and then they win one more fight. But after that time, teams can stabilize and pushes do come back. Like I've won push games where I go down 100 meters and then like, hey, we finally got our own ultimates on cycle and then it actually ends up being a more balanced game. Yeah, there you go. He's
Because you're defender favored too, so like you're fighting on your side of the map.
But even then, it's
So it
just like,
feels-
as soon as you do that, like, once we start fighting on their side, we're in a much better spot. Or maybe we started on a bad composition, and then it took us a couple of fights to, like, swap and then start getting ultimates up, so, like, the game stabilizes. That's the big issue with Clash, is that if you start poorly, the game can end before you even find a way to stop yourself from ending up in
no
free
other
fall.
game mode
That-
has such
that's
a
the
small
theory.
sample size to lose the game.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
of the modes have a pretty large sample size of team fights before you ultimately lose.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the theory too. The mode works perfectly in that regard, right? If you can find that stabilization like fast, because then it's very bad. You can make that giant sweeping comeback where you're winning fights. You can do that with push too. I think push in a way is like that's what makes that game mode kind of fun. Is that it is possible to make those big comebacks. Like it is doable because then you start winning fights because of how slowly that fucking bot moves. But with Clash, it's just way too quick. It feels like it was designed to just be a quicker push. Like that's what it feels like to me. And it's just not hitting. Quicker push is kind of bad.
At the end of the day, I think the ultimate sentiment is that I don't know anyone that likes Clash, right? Push, you'll get some fans that they're like,
I
oh,
can
I kind of like Push.
disassociate my enjoyment of playing Clash with how balanced it is as a game mode. Like I enjoy playing Clash, but I recognize that it's not balanced in its current form and it can be abused. You know,
I don't know.
I just that sounds rare. Like I personally don't know anyone that even
Yeah.
likes it to begin
It's
with.
I
like
think
I want a
most people play
balanced
the game
game
for
when I
fun.
go in, you know. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see these objectives. Like, no, I don't give a fuck. If the mode is balanced,
I
like,
think
vibrate push
I
and
think it
shit.
feels good, but I don't. You know,
Really.
I don't
yeah,
think it feels
I mean,
good.
fair enough.
Okay. I think the other thing that I think I feel is it feels like I've only ever had the same 6 to 8 team fights on every single map. Like we do the same fights because in push the bot moves a little bit more and like that you take fights sometimes in different spots. Push has somewhat the same issue, but like I feel like every time when I'm attacking the, you know, like C, everyone goes up on the left side, goes on the high ground, they fight, and we end up on the point, right? And then on D, what happens is they sit up on their high ground, they try and take the flank angles on the high grounds, we play on the base, and then we're just shooting at each other, right? Like, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of maneuvering and, like, manipulating the oppositions. Maybe it's just because we're new, but it just feels like I'm doing the same thing every single time, and it doesn't feel like there's a lot of diversity to the maps.
Well, the thing is, if you compare that to push using that point, like with push, you can fight at different points of the map because New Queen Street's a good example. Runasapi's a very good example. You can push behind them and then take. With all the Clash maps right now, try and get a flank on the enemy team. It's impossible.
It's hard,
But on almost every push map, on like Colosseo, it's a little bit more difficult. Like you have to really go out of your way to get a flank angle. But Runasapi and New Queen Street, you can just run through the mid, which is where the majority of the map like ends up being played out. When it gets closer to your base, closer to their base, it's a bit more linear in the way that you take team fights because that's just how it is, because you're moving into their choke point at the very end. But like Clash is just a perma choke point where like you are always, like Scott said, you're always taking those fights. There's no opportunity for you to run through the mid and then catch them off or like do whatever. Like even with, you know, with speed and shit.
yeah, I think that was, you know, some of the first feedback we gave is just like the game mode feels a bit claustrophobic because of the maps. Like they're pretty narrow.
It is very claustrophobic. Yeah, I agree.
And also to Scott's point, I feel like with this game mode, I get fewer like quality team fights because someone gets picked or like, oh, they capped and now they're like pushing on us. Like I don't feel like we have like solid, stabilized, good quality team fights. It's always something with this mode where it's like respawns or getting picked or like you know, you can't flank like you said. Like it's just the fights are not as rewarding as, you know, a proper like good setup team fight. Yeah, it might take 40 seconds, a minute for us to get in position and like get the flank going and like set up a play, but like those team fights feel rewarding to some degree, whereas Clash, you know, they don't feel as good in my opinion. So I don't know.
One more thing on that point, actually, this is definitely like a psychological thing, but the capture time in the game has been consistent for a long time. Like with Hybrid and Control, Flashpoint obviously changed it up a little bit and it had to be a lot quicker. But when you slow it down as much as Flashpoint, it's very jarring compared to the rest of the game. Where like, okay, we're on these points,
You mean
and
Flash, right?
For Clash, yeah, sorry, I don't know if I said something else, but yeah, for Clash, it's like slowed down. Like, you look at Control, and it feels like a control mode because it technically is. You're controlling that one point, and then, okay, now you're controlling another point. But in Control, it ticks up. Flashpoint, same thing, a little bit quicker. But this one is like, holy light years of control time. Like, we have to like all fucking sit there on the point. We have to sit there for fucking 5 minutes. And I think that as well, again, probably a psychological thing, but that does impact people's gameplay and perception of the mode, in that it's like sluggish as fuck. And those quality team fights, Johnny, they feel bad, I think, a lot of the time, because you have to like re-engage onto the point. You have a lot of time, so you're getting all these fights, but everybody's kind of staggering on. It feels weird. Again, at probably a psychological point where people think they need to take a lot of fights because of Control and because of Flashpoint. That's also a little bit weird for me, but I understand why it has to take so long.
I get where you come from, and it feels weird. But I will say, I did spectate a couple of scrims on Clash, and I was like, it kind of felt nice because I knew that the team who, if someone got picked early, they would have a chance to recontest. So like the way it takes to get back to the point, you can get a second chance to like set up a team fight and actually go for a capture. So that actually felt nice, kind of like forgiving to a degree, that I think suited the mode. But I get where you're coming from, where like, if you're capping, you're fucking capping for a long time. You're standing there.
That's also in pro play too. So this again could be a point where people aren't used to the mode yet, especially with how like the capture points work. Because like Flashpoint, that was like something to get used to. Are you going to be able to retake at 60% or 70%? You don't know. Like, you didn't know. You're like, holy shit, can we actually do this? It ticks up so quickly. So again, it could be a large psychological point where we haven't had enough time. However, it being that slow, I still think it feels fucking weird. But then if you make it quicker, you can swing the other way, where it's like, holy shit, we capped. Oh my god, we're going to get the second one. Holy shit, we're going to get the third one. And it just snowballs even quicker out of control. So I understand why it needs to be that slow, but I think the jarring aspect of it compared to other game modes, it just kind of adds a small little layer onto the kind of shit cake that we already have.
Final thing I'll say, this is why I think you need to increase the number of maximum points to finish the game, while then you can increase the cap speed, because then you can go through more points.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Right? Do you know what I mean? Like, that would make it feel better, because then if the capture time feels like more of a normal capture time you'd be used to on any other map. But like, obviously, if you don't want the game to end super quickly, you need to increase the maximum amount of points required. But I think that's a nice compromise if you do like that.
Yep. All right, a nice little sidebar topic talking about Clash after we had some experience with it. We were going to talk about FACEIT. Do you quickly want to do that? Costa, you might have somewhere to be.
Yeah, I have nowhere to be, but I
just need to piss.
I haven't watched as much, so it's gonna be on you guys.
Part of me was like, maybe we'll just do a separate episode later this week where we talk fully about esports, maybe, but people, I don't know, people really want us to talk about it, so maybe we'll just cover it, and then we can even do a separate episode later anyway. And also, I don't know how much you want to talk about, but do you want to start with talking about EMEA, the FACEIT? Avril, you cast it, of course.
Oh, my region.
So,
my home region, guys.
Let's just set the stage. So apparently, going into the weekend with both regions, there was a vote whether to include Juno or not. EMEA voted for having Juno, and NA voted against having Juno, which made for a pretty weird broadcast where one region was playing Juno and the other wasn't playing Juno. So you had that. It meant that there were two different metas being played, whereas in EMEA, pretty much, the winning meta was just Ram, May, Brig, Juno, and in NA it was, a lot more open than that. But all right.
NA didn't have a vote at all. So the way it worked was...
All right, fair enough. They didn't have a vote at all.
The reason why they didn't have a vote is because no one opted for it, meaning that what happened to EMEA was, the story that got told to me was that SSG initiated the vote because they wanted to include Juno. And then I believe... So this is where the story kind of departs in two different directions, and I've heard conflicting things here. Supposedly, the vote required a unanimous agreement by every single team, but I also heard from an insider that every team voted in favor of adding Juno except ENCE. So those two things conflict. I don't know which one's true, but it's funny to think about everyone agreeing except ENCE, so I'm going to go with that one.
I mean, ENCE were by far the best team in EMEA.
Wait, so you're telling me
Juno.
SSG convinced everyone to allow Juno, Did they then just come in, play Juno Ram Rush the entire time, and then do really well? Is that what happened?
To be
They won
fair,
the
to be
tournament.
fair, they did
And
win
so
the
that's the
tournament.
best team
like-
going
No,
into it.
hang on. Whoa, hang on. They didn't play Ram Rush the whole time. They started on Diva, lost because Hardy's Diva isn't going to be up to scratch compared to other Divas, and then like day 2 of the tournament, hard locked the Ram, and then won the tournament. Day 3, hard locking the Ram, and basically everyone just played a Ram mirror no matter what, and ended up just playing a Ram mirror no matter what because everyone realized Diva just wasn't going to cut it for any versus the Ram at all. So yes, SSG convinced the entire region to swap the Juno to their benefit, and everyone's like, "Let's do that." And then SSG won the tournament.
Bro, the masterclass, coaching masterclass right there. How to win games.
I mean, they literally in the OWC stage 3 lost to VP twice, I believe. They ended up being the 3rd best team. ENCE was by far the best team in stage 3, and so obviously it makes sense that if the story is true, ENCE were the ones that didn't want the Juno to go through, because why would they? They were already the best team on the previous meta. Why would they want to change the meta? Obviously, SSG would want to change the meta because they were losing on the previous meta. So yes, changing the meta would help SSG a lot, and somehow every team went along with it. So there it
Check
is.
the PayPal.
Insane
Conspiracy.
shit,
Get on
actually.
my tinfoil hat, everyone. Even though I know nothing else about it.
But I do think it was good to see a new hero
Yeah,
in
100%.
pro play. So I don't hate that.
You say that, it was so funny. Like, me and Jay were kind of watching the games and shit beforehand, and I think day 2 we both said like, thank fuck Juno isn't meta, or like not enabled. Sorry, thank God for that, because it comes down to like, well, Juno's perma meta, and then everybody's playing it, everybody's playing the same comp, and then it is just a clusterfuck of ults, and it's classic like old goats. Everybody hits Q at the same time, but this time around there's a giant orbital laser that is just slowly moving across the map, and then there's all these other effects, and like, oh my god,
Dude, get the clip of the 10 ultimate fight.
Yeah, the 10
Where's the clip
ult
of the
fight?
10 ultimate fight? Where was that?
Dude, it is so dumb. Like, and that, I think I said to you, Avril, or somebody, maybe it was Jake, I can't remember, but I was like, they need to lower the opacity for the Juno ultimate, because you just can't see a thing. Like, whether that's like client side or whatever, I don't give a fuck. Just please lower it for spec. It looks so egregious.
I found it.
You got it? Okay,
you know
bring
what?
it up.
Mitch created a new name for the comp, by the way. It's called Junotes.
Junotes?
Junotes.
I
I
am
like
in
Space
pain.
Goats.
Space Goats. I like Space Goats
was
too.
way better.
I think Junotes sounds more creative. Space Ghost is just another derivative of goats. It's just like, come on,
Nah, I guess. But then
too
so
close.
Junotes.
I know,
guess.
but it's slightly more creative. I found the clip, by the way.
There
The
you go.
visual
this
clutter
fight
was,
is so it was ridiculous. It's because everybody was playing fucking May as well. Like,
And Ram Annihilation.
oh, I can't wait to play by play.
Look at
Oh
all the
my
race.
God.
Look at the 2 race. Look at the 2 beats.
It's so stupid.
It is stupid.
2 Rams, 2 Juno ults, 2 males, Rally and Briggs. There's a Bob at the very end. Like,
It's got everything. It's got everything.
bring up that Valorant clip of the, don't actually Solomon. I'm not trying to say to find it, but like, look at that old Valorant clip. I think it was John Overwatch, and he was like, "Yeah, it's so hard to read, bro." And then there's the Valorant clip of like 17 walls and like mollies and shit like that. It's like, come on, man. I do not envy anybody like Mitch included that has to play by play this, because this shit is.
He did.
ass.
He play-by-played this, and he's an absolute goat for that. Like,
Yeah,
he actually
this shit
play-by-played
is
this.
But like, this is my big thing with broadcast. Obviously, this is very like biased for like casting and like play-by-play especially. I don't want to cast this every single fight. This shit is boring as hell. And like colors, I can guarantee you as well, don't want to fucking color this shit every time, because it's the same fucking thing. Like, it just. This shit's ass, bro. Like, get this shit off my screen. I was so happy we didn't have Juno after seeing that, because initially I was like,
what was your meta
I
then?
can't wait. Maybe we'd have Juno, please, please, please. And then our meta was just fucking everything, bro. It was just what it was before Juno, which was just, okay, Diva, okay, Winston, okay, we saw Queen, Orisa, Rat. Like, we saw pretty much everything. Like, it was very varied. It was good.
Damn.
Yeah,
I'm jealous.
it
was great.
I honestly struggled to like co-stream it at some points. I was like,
I know,
all
you
right.
fucking stopped the co-stream, then started playing
Here we
Overwatch when
go.
NA came on. I'm like, I'm not surprised.
I did actually. I did do that. Yes.
I just thought you hated me,
Johnny's
which
like,
is fair
fuck this
enough.
shit. I'm out.
I told you I really enjoyed playing the game, and so I was watching the game, and I was just like, I really just want to play the game. I can watch this later.
Oh, which is fair. Like, I don't
And
blame you,
also, Co-streaming
way
by
better.
yourself is not that much fun, guys. When you're sitting alone co-streaming and you don't have anyone to talk to and you don't have a lot of chat going on, it's not the most funny thing ever. So I'd rather just play the game with chat and then I can watch it by myself or something. So
Yeah, that's pretty fair. If you have a big chat and your chat's going crazy, yeah, it's easy. I agree.
yeah, because we were. Oh yeah, I'm a small streamer. I'm a small streamer, Joss. You know, it is what it's.
Oh, so am I. I'm not like fucking throwing
you
stones,
were.
bro.
But me and Avril were co-streaming on Friday, and it was like a lot of fun because like me and Avril were like bantering and like chatting about the game and like stories and whatnot.
But then I had to cast.
Then you had to work. Then you had to work, and I was
baby.
sitting there. I was like sitting at you doing your job, and we were listening to you, and yeah. So co-streaming by yourself is not the most fun. So I played the game.
I'm glad it was better. That's what I'm saying. I didn't want to cast that Juno shit.
So replay codes were wiped today, but I spent fucking 3 hours this morning just recording player pubs so I can go and look at. Because Lethal, I heard Lethal popped off, so now I have Lethal's POV from all four maps.
Holy Lethal. The storyline for Lethal was insane. Talking you first, that was funny as fuck.
Talk what first? EMEA?
EU. Are we doing EMEA?
Yeah. I was just gonna say that we should talk about EMEA first. So
do that
Space
first.
Station ends up winning. Avril, we need to take a second here though to talk about the fact that Space Station, they did lose in the winners bracket, but then they just stomped the finals. So what changed? I guess is the big question.
Pretty sure they still ended up playing some Diva in the upper bracket, whereas they ended up just like I'm pretty sure even Ants still ended up playing some Diva in the upper bracket. By the time we got to the finals, it was just pure RAM mirror, and I think SSG had a way more refined RAM mirror at the end of the day as well. Pretty sure as well, Kevster was not as willing to play the May at all times. He was still at various times trying to make the Trace and the firework. Obviously, if you have Kevster on your team, you want him on his hyper carry heroes. May will still look good in Kevster's hands because he's Kevster, but it's not one of those heroes that you can absolutely take over a lobby as well as compared to like a Fire or a Tracer. So he's still trying to make those work. And it's also then gambled on bringing in my Moan for New Drunk City as like a final last ditch effort to try and shake things up by having my Moan just play Venture the whole time. But by that time, it's too late. I mean, Venture's no good at that stage. You're in a Juno Ram Rush mirror. Like bringing the Venture in is not going to do anything. Space Station essentially stopped trying to innovate. They stopped trying to do weird. They stopped. I said weird stuff. They stopped trying to do anything that wasn't just a pure Ram rush comp, because they originally played some Venture as well, like Backbone play Venture and Lee Jung. They stopped doing that. So once Space Station just locked into full Ram, they were not beatable by anyone because everyone else had to also play full Ram because they also could not beat the Ram. So they joined them.
It was crazy it took them that long, by the way. Just like to get off the Hardy Diva. I was like, fuck, man, they're still trying this? I was like, holy shit, just play Ram. This rush is good.
Well,
Didn't understand the Diva.
Diva speeding through the ring was like a good combo. So.
I understood. Yeah, I understand. But like, your team is... Dude, the Hardy is not the best Diva in EU. Like, he is getting schooled by like KSA and like... not KSA, sorry. TVNT.
Rajaro and Vastola.
Yeah, Vastola and everybody else, right? Like, yeah, it just felt like they stuck on it way too long. But hey, they pulled through in the end. They got a W, so hey, fuck it, right?
Yeah, they got the W. I mean, EMEA has been awesome this year because these teams, they have their different preferred metas and stuff, and like we're seeing them go back and forth whenever the meta changes. Different contenders competing for number one. So it's been really entertaining. And so when the meta shifted from Diva into Brawl, SSG ends up winning FACEIT in a pretty awesome comeback. So credit to them as well. For the other teams here in EMEA, is there a team that perhaps stood out, whether it was the Virtus Pro? I'm still an Ioma fan. Like, I just love a one-man army. I told Avril, I am Donghun's biggest fan. Like, I just love watching Donghun. It's not usual that I just like stand over a Brig player, but I think Donghun's Brig is just amazing, and Top Dragon is always fun to watch. So I am an Ioma fan.
They're going to be a real contender. I mean, I don't know where Twisted Minds is anymore in terms of the power ranking because they didn't play in this tournament. We haven't seen them in the Juno meta. But I think a new challenger has arrived in Tekken terms. So Ioma might be really, kind of pushing a little bit, trying to make that top four. EMEA top 4, top 5 is very competitive right now. So, I mean, it depends. It depends how our team's got to catch up to SSG in this Ram rush thing or not, because it seems like, it's
going to be meta still,
Ram
right?
is, it seems like with the mid-season patches we discussed, Diva nerfed, Ram not touched at all. hey, guess what? We're gonna keep playing Ram. Ram armor buff not changed. Brig armor bug still there. Okay, so same comps. We're literally gonna one trick this comp. I'm pretty sure NA is gonna follow suit and play the same thing as well because
100%.
it literally is the best.
Korea
Korea is even on the exact same comp now. This is literally the
On
meta.
Circuit Real 2. They're playing it on Circuit Real 2, right?
So yeah, so this is literally the meta. Even the dive heaviest region is playing this. That means this is meta. So
Yeah, it's kind of wild. NA are 100% going to follow. Juno is just too strong as well. Like that
Also-
character is just busted.
VP kind of fucked themselves. They should not have gone through with the vote for Juno because, like, it objectively doesn't help them. VP as a team, identity-wise, is such a good poke team. What are they good at? They're good at Sigma plus Ash plus Fire. Like I think they're the best team in EMEA at that. Maybe ENCE is better than that, but you know they're one of the top teams. They're clearly better than SSG in the previous meta. For VP to vote in favor of adding Juno absolutely helps SSG while weakening VP. It made no sense for VP to agree to that vote. I don't know why they agreed at all. I was so dumb of them. But VP is still a team that I like, but they made the wrong choice with agreeing to
Yeah,
Juno.
I mean, we were watching, especially on Friday as well, and Canale just had some insane on at Sleep Darts as well. But then the support duo goes towards Brig, Juno, so see less Ana being played and harder for them to have that kind of impact. You know, we saw less of Shockwave. There was Cloud and Sauna. It's a damage duo, so...
Shockwave's gonna get subbed in and all. I don't know where Shockwave was the whole weekend. Was he maybe just away? Because even at the end, when it was pure Ash, no swapping, Sauna doesn't swap at all. Only Ash. I'm there like, bro, where is Shockwave right now? If you're only gonna play Ash, surely Shockwave just plays, unless the dude is just literally missing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is he tweeted or anything? I haven't been on Twitter in the last like 2 weeks, actually.
Yeah.
Scott, what do you think? You love Twitter, don't you? So
Yeah, huge
there you
fan.
go.
Big
Fan
fan.
of Twitter.
I've only really...
Okay, that makes sense. We had
Yeah.
Toby in YouTube chat said Shockwave was away. I trust Toby in YouTube chat.
Okay. Thank you,
So,
Toby.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Toby.
it, Toby.
Super
That makes
busy that
that
weekend.
makes a lot of sense. There you go. There were definitely some maps where like, okay, they're literally just playing long range hit scan, and Shockwave is not in the lineup. So what's happening? But there you go. Thank you, Toby. Thank you for clearing that up, Toby. Love it. We can depend on the Plat Chat viewers to help us out. All right. Do you want to swap gears over to NA?
Sure.
All right. Talk us through it, Joss, because I was playing
Easily
ranked.
the best match of the tournament. Obviously, dude. It's just really dark in here. Okay, my fish tank lights are off, and I can't bother to change my main light. I got my LEDs going though. Also, you can't see, but I'm taking down my 22 long at the moment, so there is just bullshit.
My man said,
You're
tell me...
22 long?
That's a 22 long. What
My
is
man
that?
said, tell me about NAOWCS. He gets the full cam and he's like, that's a great question, but let me first
Yeah, we talk about
move to my tank.
Talk
Tell me
about
about your 22 long, Joss.
What's a 22 long?
My 22 long is my 22 gallon long fish tank. It's
Okay, I
like
could've worked
it's
that
like
out.
a
The
long
fish tank.
It's a long boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
You can't see it, yeah, but there's bullshit all
I was
over
like,
the
is
floor.
that a
It's pissing
gun
me
or
off.
a truck or what? Like, what is a 22 long? Like,
Maybe it's 22 long as a gun as well.
it's like,
It's a fish tank. Anyway,
It's a fish tank. All right.
the finals has to be one of the best storylines NA has ever fucking cooked. Actually fucking cooked. Tom, could you bring the bracket? Yeah. This game was fucking insane. Look at that shit. So TSM come in for Scott for this series. It was a winners upper bracket advantage. So TSM had an additional point coming in to this series. TSM get 2 maps. Timeless fucking on the phone. Lethal, where are you? I'm in the supermarket with my girlfriend getting shopping. Can you come in and play? Sure. Drives home. Gets on the PC. Not warmed up. Fucking gigapounds for the next 4 straight maps. Like, absolutely goes fucking nuclear on, like, Widow. And he's just dumpstering people. It was fucked up. Like, Geneva Convention level shit. Like, that guy's gonna get tried in The Hague for the, like, war crimes that he did. It was unreal. One of the best games we've had in North America in a long time. Like, unreal. And then at the very end, by the way, he disconnects twice, I think, during the series. At the very end, the final tick on Samoa, he DCs at 99% with 2 pixels before it goes victory. And then it's like, Timeless win. And I'm like, Timeless win, I think? And then people are like, oh, they're still in the game. Do we win? And like, we're in their comms at the same time. The most scuffed, like, ending of a broadcast game I've ever been a part of as well. Because we're in their comms, they can't hear us because we're doing the Jake in the comms moment. And it's like, the game hasn't ended, they're not sure, we're not sure, everything's like, oh, they won, I think, maybe? Like this bit, look at this shit, bro. Look at how close this OT is. Obviously, it's blurry for us, but boom, pauses. Because he DCs. Lethal just DCs at the very last second, and we jump into the comms, and they're like, did we win? Like, and this is the screen, obviously, we see. And dude, it was so scuffed, but it was really funny. It was really good at the end. But
So
yeah,
was he actually in the
unbelievable
supermarket?
Series. Yeah, he was in the supermarket, and then he drove home because they were like, yeah. And
Why
he
wasn't
said,
he available? Why wasn't he?
because
you know,
they've just not been playing him at all. So like, and then yeah, they called him, and he apparently said, because this is what he said in the interview. He was like, you know, I'm gonna drive home and go play Overwatch, and his girlfriend was like, okay, and then he just did it, and then he just omega slapped the whole series. It was such a sick game.
Oh, Lethal is a giga chat.
Yeah.
So you're telling me
actually, Giga Chat.
all it took for NA to be like a competitive region with good games is for Toronto to not play in the tournament.
Yeah. And
we
Shock.
all knew that.
And Shock, yeah. It was
No
fun.
nightmare
It was a good
either.
time. Yeah, dude, the name changing in NA as well. is
I'm
also
happy
so
for
fun.
Lethal. That dude has been pounding all year long. From stage 1, stage 2,
He's a
until
legend.
now. Just
That's a legendary
carried.
moment. Yeah, and then no one was talking, and they're like, it grew. Hi, Jake. It's me, Jake. I'm in your comms. You know, a moment, and he was like, "You guys can talk, by the way." And he was just fucking giga chat in the interview as well. It was so funny, man. It was a really legendary series.
Yeah. Also, I mean, I know they lost in the most brutal way possible, but it was
Yeah,
also fun to see
heartbreaking.
TSM do well in the tournament. Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
They
like
lost
that,
again. Like they're
Yeah.
cursed. Like
they kind of demolished Timeless in the upper bracket as well. Like the first map is the classic control fraudulent game mode. I wouldn't say demolished, but like it was pretty convincing that TSM like won. It was like, okay, shit. And then they come in and then win 2 maps on that final, and they are up 3 points, and you're like, this is another classic Overwatch finals, guys. Don't worry, it's going to be a 4-0. But then, yeah, it turned into be one of the best games.
Are
of
they
all time.
giving a winner's advantage one map these days?
Upper bracket? Yeah.
No,
well, for
so
FACEIT.
that's a weird thing they only did for FACEIT. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I didn't
it's
even
like a
know what was
weird
happening.
choice.
We got to
Yeah.
the last day, and in production, they're like, oh, so by the way, winner bracket gets a map advantage. So we're like, what the fuck? Since when?
Yeah.
Like this
Yeah,
is
it
we
was really
we
weird.
don't do this in Overwatch Esports. I don't like it or agree with it at all. So I fucking
What
hate this.
games do they do it in? Do they do it in
It's
CS?
like fighting
No,
games.
It's
they do
fighting
it
game.
on,
It's
right?
very common in
Oh,
fighting games do like
games.
runbacks, like they'll do double series, and then like sometimes other things have done it. But we've tested it in Overwatch. We've talked about it in Overwatch,
It
and it's
sucks
just
in
always,
Overwatch.
it feels
Yeah,
bad.
it's
Like
not good.
it's like, yeah, it sucks. You made it through the winners bracket. You didn't get an advantage for that. Fuck it, just win the finals again, bro. I don't know.
But you
like,
do get an advantage. Your advantage is that you didn't have to play as many games.
Exactly.
You had an easier pathway. And you get map selection. And I've always argued for this, by the way. If they want to make winner's advantage even better, like actually good, allow the winner's first map choice to be any map in the entire pool of any game mode, not just control. If you really want to make the winner's
Right.
advantage good. They could do anything but give them a free map. Giving a free map is the dumbest option.
We use the old system too, because the new system is you can pick any game mode, but like this was like, oh, you go.
Oh
through,
yeah.
and
With the drafting,
it was pre-decided on the draft. Because to be fair, that makes sense because it's on the FACEIT client, and that's just how they've done it throughout the whole tournament. So it makes sense. But I hope in the future we can do that, where it's like, okay, they're doing the new format where they pick any mode, etc. Apart from control, because that's always the first. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we'll get rid of control.
The biggest
at some point.
The biggest frustration with that is just the amount of production time it takes to get into a new map. It takes to
Yeah,
like
it
question,
does.
you know, like if you're ever like, why are the casters talking for like 3 minutes between this map? Is because it usually takes time for the admins to talk to the team and say, what map do you want? Then they have to talk about it. Then they decide what maps, and then the map has to be chosen. And then it just like adds way more time to it.
Where they also had to do that and ban heroes too,
Yeah.
which is, it took a long time. It did. I think it worked out pretty well. There is definitely ways to slim it down. I don't want to get into like a format discussion because fuck that.
FACEIT has also always all year been really receptive to feedback and
100%.
changes stuff on the fly. So,
but like
they're
their
awesome at that.
platform, I can understand, right? Because their platform right now is designed and set up that way that you go into the lobby on the website and you do the things. So like, why would they change it for just this? It doesn't really make sense. But hopefully in the future we can obviously transition
they
away
change
from
it because it's a more competitive format to do loser picks is why they would change it.
Sure. Yeah, but well, maybe in the future. Also, Fluffy Aimers had an insane day as well. The day 2 Fluffy Aimers, 2 back-to-back map 5s, or not back-to-back, they had a break, but yeah, that was an insane day too. Actually, that team is really fun. Also, Citrus is a really fun team to watch. Always have been really fun to watch, to be fair. But yeah, Fluffy Aimers had an insane day, like 2 map 5s. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, NA is actually a really fun region. You know, I know we have to get these stomps with Toronto and NRG Shock, but like, I feel like the 4 to 10, 4 to 8 teams are like really interesting to follow because they're all on par with each other. And so I thought it was like you get to like the main event in OWCS, and the less favored teams are always like fun to watch. Whether it's TSM, used to be Citrus Nightmare, Timeless, like Fluffy Dreamland, like all these teams. I think they're really fun to follow. So great tournament for it because TSM, they lost in the first round of OWCS Stage 3. And I told you, Avril, I was just like, I think TSM could go on a bit of a run here with Ice's Diva and ended up making it to the finals. And it's like that's just kind of stuff you get with these teams. You know, when it's not Toronto all the time. It's like, it changes who is the best week to week. So
it is funny that as soon as Toronto and Shock are not in the pool, like they become super competitive. Although these games, though, the Toronto's Nightmares, like this kind of shit, it's just it's the level of Overwatch is just unbelievable. Like it's very good. There's a trade-off,
Yep. Well, anything else to say on NA? It was weird. There was no Juno. Like it felt jarring. Like when I did swap from E to NA, and I was like, wait, what is happening?
Thank fuck there was no Juno though.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It would have been a lot less fun if there was Juno, is all I'm saying.
Yep. Yeah. Also, lots of good Overwatch this past weekend. Anything else to say on FACEIT? We kind of wrap it here. We didn't do a recap of OWCS Stage 3, and it's so far long ago that I can't go back to there.
Well,
but
Stage 4 starts like right.
Yeah, it starts next week, right?
Well,
it starts this weekend.
We could do.
Not
if you want to do a second episode, we can do an OWCS specific episode.
No, if you want a recap, go to Uncoachable. But we'll look forward. We'll do an interview or something. So.
Well, he really
they did a great recap already. I'm not going back to do like 3-week-old content if they already made a great episode on it. So I don't know. That's stuff. So we're gonna talk about Diva, like Ents just Vestola Diva being awesome. Like, come on, we can't go back. to that.
Okay, with OWCS season 4's or like Stage 4's coming around, so
we got Swiss coming up this weekend.
You could do a combined like OWCS Stage 3 plus Stage 4 preview kind of deal,
Well, yeah, we'll see. I don't want to stress Solomon too much either, because Solomon, is probably gonna work like 14 hours a day this upcoming weekend. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna cook something up. Work. Yeah, Solomon loves producing Overwatch streams. Yeah, Solomon loves that. Yippee! Let's do Bren's Player of the Week and get out of here. It's dinner time for us in LA, so I'm hungry. I'm hungry as hell. Yeah. All right, Bren's Player of the Week. Lethal.
Yeah,
seems like a pretty obvious candidate.
Legend. Oh, Youngjin.
Oh,
Youngjin.
Wait,
there you go.
Shout out Youngjin. What a fucking go.
Did Tayo ever get a Brent's Player of the Week for his new
card? No, he actually cut it. He's not allowed to get it.
Tayo, Brent's Player of the Week. He bought a new GTR.
Okay,
check it out. That's fucking sick. Let's be honest.
Giga Chad shit. Legendary.
So it's good when Joel's like, no, fuck Lethal. That GTR though.
That's because it's a car. Joel's is trying so hard to start Plat Chat cars. Plat Chat Tokyo Drift. Plat Chat, I don't know.
Dude, I'll do Plat Chat Fast and Furious. Look at that shit.
So clean.
Oh my god.
I like GTRs as well. That's fucking clean.
Sick. GTRs are fucking sick, bro. If I add 120k, easy.
Yeah, you say this every week.
Easy. I do say this every week. I am still yet to come up with $120,000.
That's fucked up.
That is fucked up.
I have a different relationship with these cars because I can't fit in them. So I'm like, Cool.
Yeah, your ass
It's
is
funny
not
because
fitting in my car.
it's funny
that's for
because
sure.
Jack is at 119, so he just needs one more, guys. One more.
One more, guys.
Yeah,
more
donate 1K to
$1,000.
Jaws.
119.
Yeah.
He's nearly
Let's
there. He's
stream.
nearly there.
I'm so close.
If 120 of you right now donate
because-
Jaws 1K, he can afford. He'll be able to
so
afford his
true.
GTR. Think about Jack, guys.
If only he didn't buy that 22 long. If he didn't buy that, you would have had the GDR.
If I didn't
that's
buy the
true.
22 long, I'm selling it though. I'm selling it. I'll get maybe like $50.
Oh,
Like,
Jaws!
that's close.
we have a car head in the chat. Lothricos, is that a 370 said? Looks like mine. LOL.
No, bro. What,
A
no, that's not a car
370
head.
said.
That's not a
Ban
car
that guy
head.
from the chat right now.
Bro,
Ban that guy
that's
from
not
the
a
chat
car
right now.
No.
head at all. That is
I
not
think
a
they're
car
the
head.
same car. I'm pretty sure they're the same car.
That's fucking
370
crazy. What an
said.
insane comment.
I
That's a
will give you
wild
that.
comment.
The headlights are kind of like, pointy and they got the little thing going on, but you're fucked up for saying that, bro.
That's crazy, bro. That's
Lothric,
fucking
I-
messed up.
Oh, shout out to you.
370.
Don't
I
listen
like
to
the
them.
370. When I played Need for
I
Speed,
like
I enjoyed a
370s.
good 370Z. I honestly, those things went kind of crazy.
370 is kind of nice. I like him.
But ban
Bro,
that guy.
GTR?
Bro
No.
needs to take a 370 in the mirror and take a good look at
No.
himself with that comment. That's fucking
Yeah,
wild.
actually.
Oh my god. Lethal gets Friends Player of the Week. We're not giving
Yeah,
it
there
to
you
because Tayo bought a car. Come on. now.
Oh, come on.
Lethal reverse swept, won 4 maps in a row to win a grand finals after being at the supermarket with his girlfriend. So
Well, maybe Lethal should buy a car then.
Yeah, that's true.
All that money you won.
Bro, imagine that story if he's like, okay, I'm coming back from the supermarket, gets in the GTR, then came back and
that
popped off.
story is
Then,
perfect.
then that would be
He's
perfect.
ripping it.
Okay.
Twin turbo
While
V6.
drifting and like dodging all the cops and like
Yeah.
losing all the cops behind. Bro, so 5-star
Family.
the just like losing the helicopter and everything. Amazing. Yeah.
because it's not 2018, 2019 anymore. Overwatch players can't afford GTRs. So
Ah, damn.
maybe in the
so
future.
sad.
Yeah,
So
maybe
sad.
we'll see.
day.
How much?
right.
Maybe with some of his winnings, since they won $7,500 for first place, they get to
$75,000,
split
that's
that.
crazy.
So he probably got a
Split that
grand
between
out of
10
it.
people, yeah.
That's the $1,000. So Lethal and Jaws, you can buy a GTR together.
Finally, a GTR will be mine.
There you go. All right. Let's wrap this episode up. We're all hungry. We're all gonna go eat food. But I
I
think
got
we'll
some
be
chili,
back
bro.
with another episode later this week for whatever reason. Just because we want to talk about Overwatch and esports. So, we'll figure it out. Maybe see you soon. Hopefully. Goodbye.